crossover. Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover.
It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Time for the crossover powered by, I can't hear. Powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. I can't hear
Shafe's
air.
ready to go.
Yeah, Shafe's got the mic on, and I can't hear air.
So,
hey, Matt. Hey, Josh. What it do?
How are you?
Good.
Let's talk about it because I was a little disappointed in myself. I feel like I miscalculated who I should have brought up. I don't know who Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is with.
It was John.
Well, he wasn't. I was mad.
There is an RFK.
He wasn't there, and and so it was like Austin, and Austin didn't really.
He didn't really get it.
He was like,
Yeah.
nah, whatever.
You never know how John's going to react, though. John always keeps people on their toes as far as his reaction.
The kid who didn't know what Mall of America is didn't laugh at you not knowing who JFK Jr. is.
I did not know that, so I was listening yesterday.
Yeah, he had no idea what the Mall of America was.
That was a great one.
Which is, wow.
I would say it's worse to not know what the Mall of America
Full
is.
question, which is worse?
Than not knowing John F. Kennedy.
To not know about.
People did find out yesterday about my, I don't want to call them Minnesota roots, but the fact that the first years of my life were lived in Minneapolis, not in Chicago.
Oh, you're a Minneapolis guy.
That's what they were trying to say. They were trying to be like Minneapolis Matt.
That's like go Vikings.
No, absolutely not. I was there for 2 years, and I don't remember. The only thing I remember...
Go Twins. I remember going to the Dome when I was a year and a half years old.
The only thing I remember about being in Minnesota is that when I was like 1 year old, like I crapped my pants at a pool, and that was a big...
There's a pool in Minnesota?
You remember that?
Yeah, I don't...
It was like 2. I was 1 or 2.
Pretty impressive. I mean,
I'm not
I don't
sure
know.
I have any memories that actually exist before I was like 5 or 6.
That's like the only, like I have one more memory when I was 3 years old, and I was like, I was doing weird things.
I have a memory that I have like in the ages of 1 to 3, but I can't tell if it's actually my memory if it's my memory watching a home video of me watching myself.
So you didn't have home video.
Okay. I like that. That's interesting.
But either way, I try to
have
tell
home
people that it's
video.
my memory.
I feel like I grew up in the last sort of vestige of time where you would unlikely to have any video of yourself as a child. Like none exists.
Interesting.
We didn't have a camcorder or any home and obviously cell phones.
You have a pretty big family. That's sort of surprising that the camcorder wasn't just out.
Nobody had one.
Huh.
Like tons of photos. So it's not like, that didn't exist. But there's no my neighbors didn't have one. I'm not on camera anywhere. Until middle school basketball where
anytime
I'm on film for the great towns of Fremont and Kearney and other places to be concerned about number 50 power forward 5'9" with the headband and the hook shot. You got to watch out for that guy.
Nice. I don't think I have any home video of me when I was a kid growing up, but I think that was just because my mom was lazy and not,
And that's more rare because you were born in 2001?
2002.
Yeah, so that's wild.
We have a ton of pictures. Like there are a ton of Matt 1 to 5 year old pictures, but video, I've never seen a video.
That's crazy. Anytime anything happened, the camcorder was
I've never seen a video of me from the ages 1 to 3. Ever.
Ages 1 to what?
1 to 3.
Okay, yeah, but I'm saying there wasn't video of me until I was 12.
I don't think.
And it was, again, some middle school basketball.
Yeah, that's interesting. 12 is a long time. That's
the era of which,
wow.
And again, my family just didn't have a camcorder.
Yeah, you know what? They started recording my hockey games when I was 6. My
kid brushes his teeth, and I'm like, oh, I want to show this to Shelby. So I take a video.
Yeah.
That's
But
good.
what are we going to do with it? When we realize eventually, in 15 years, what are we going to do with these videos? So what?
Well, I think you curate it into clips, and then the clips you figure out where they're going to live on at.
Yeah, where do they live?
Part of what Instagram and Facebook actually are is a literal time capsule that you can revisit as long as the URL on your login.
Instagram very much is an archive for my life at this point. Like I've been posting on Instagram since I was 14 years old.
So
and I can
Instagram
easily
is I mean, Instagram really is just like the modern day photo album.
It really is. Because I can go
You
back.
guys have those big piles of photo albums at your house, right?
Oh, yeah. Not my house.
No, you're like your parents' house. Yeah.
Like, so we have
someday someone is going to inherit that, and there's no like system for how it's organized.
I know.
And my OCD that I didn't know that I had until I was an adult will kick in.
I love going through the old photos.
Oh yeah.
Whoa,
I really do.
I do too.
I love going through the old photos.
We don't have an album as much as we just have a bunch of Shutterfly envelopes that are just scattered around a basement that you just run into.
Oh, you don't have the actual albums? You don't have the books?
No, we're not that type of family.
The fact that you said Shutter, like every time I'm just like not prepared for how different my life was.
Yeah.
I'm over here with like Kodak envelopes from Walmart.
Oh, yeah.
I got to go get these photos developed.
You know, like I had a disposable camera when I went on vacation as a kid so I could take my own photos because I thought my dad's photos stunk, and they did, but mine didn't turn out much better.
How do you feel that like disposable cameras and the Polaroid pictures for me have been more of like a
novelty?
Not a novelty, as like they've been a retro cool thing to me.
Yeah,
like not an essential.
I keep seeing like people do videos with like quote unquote 2010 filter. And I'm like, what are you talking? 2010 was yesterday. What are you talking
they
about?
They record on a DS and it's like,
2010 was your graduation year, right?
Yeah.
And
admittedly, it did look quite a lot different in 2010.
Well,
that's not the way
lighting
I think
was
about
different.
It. Yeah.
It's
lighting, what people wore.
Over winter break, I got drunk and watched a 2001, or was it it might have been whatever year Emmitt Smith was on the Arizona Cardinals and they played the Minnesota Vikings, like in week 17 of some season.
Okay.
I just watched, I think it was like 2003 football.
I feel like later than that.
Yeah.
I want to say it's closer to 2005.
I was going to say 7. That was the
first
I
don't think it was 7.
You think Emmitt Smith made it all the way to 7?
No way.
Nope.
No.
He retired in 2004.
Yeah.
There you go.
So we watched a 2004 football game. And it was so it was so startling. I was like, "Where's the yellow line?" I was like, I can't believe the score bug isn't up 24/7. What do you mean? I don't know how much time is left in the game. What do you mean? I can't tell you how many timeouts the Vikings had. It was shocking to me.
I've gone back and watched the 2001 Super Bowl Rams Titans a couple. That's like my favorite game. Sorry, Josh. That's my favorite Super Bowl.
Josh still liked the game.
Proud in hindsight.
This is an incredible game. And it's the thing I can never get over is just the size of shoulder pads of how these
men were men.
Nobody wears pads anymore at all.
Well, how about the turf? I mean, like the cement that they played on.
The sheer bulk that these guys played
asphalt
at and
they were falling on.
Like Kurt Warner looks like the equivalent of an action figure because it's just so blocky.
Yeah, it looks like robotic.
Yeah, and it's just incredible what that looked like. And then now, you hear about like JSN barely wears shoulder pads. They're like invisible shoulder pads.
And they basically like play on roller skates as their cleats. It's very odd.
Also, too, though, that was even before JSN. Like Michael Bennett, didn't wear.
Oh, yeah.
Wore a big thing that running backs would stop wearing thigh pads.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, everyone just decided that pads are bad, and they're like, "No, thank you." Who's going to be the first person to not wear a helmet? Antonio Brown.
Probably he was wearing a helmet when he was playing.
Was he playing in the penal league?
By the way, do we never forget that was a whole drama of Antonio Brown had a helmet that was deemed dangerous and that he refused to change it?
Oh,
I forgot about it.
And then he burned his feet off. And
it's the Kawhi Leonard NBA story of the NFL for me, I guess.
Yeah, what a spineless commissioner allowing Kawhi to be in the All-Star game now. I can't stand it.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get the chance to hear your commissioner rankings yesterday. How'd they go?
We went...
how many
where'd you put Gary
Bettman?
Commissioners?
Silver was 4. Bettman was 3.
Oh, so you didn't include like police commissioners of Omaha?
No.
That would have been good.
Todd Schmader's doing a great job.
Commissioner Gordon was not on our ranking.
No, I'm a little disappointed, but okay.
Wait a minute. So Manfred is better than half, at least?
I had Manfred at 3.
Manfred is 4 easily.
I put him.
No, Adam Silver.
You have Silver at 4?
I have Silver at 4. I have such a disdain.
So Manfred's your number one.
He's number 2.
This is disgusting.
I put Manfred number 2.
Goodell what?
Yeah, he's behind Rod. I did hear the preamble to it, which was like, Rod isn't that bad. And I was like, I don't like where this is going.
Well, okay. But it's more so to do, it's more or less to do with what Roger has done.
He loves Raj.
And more to do with like the fact that
Raj.
nobody cares about Gary Bettman's sport. Like, I just don't feel like you can be that great of a commissioner when no one really gives a damn.
That's why I would
put
just
him at 1.
Can't be that bad either.
Put him at 1.
Yeah, no. As someone who loves the game of hockey and recognizes, it frustrates me so much when I take somebody to a hockey game, right? Or I take them to a Hawks game, or I take them anywhere, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is fun! Oh my God, this is a great time! Like I love this. This is incredible!" And it makes me so mad that like more people aren't exposed to how great of a sport it is, and
it
like
doesn't
not
transcend
enough people,
on television.
But it should transcend on television.
It
It's
doesn't.
a great. The problem with
Hockey is at its absolute best if it's in person.
Yes,
1.
yeah.
Hockey is
true.
at its next best if the United States is playing.
So
that's the end of the list.
You're totally right.
1, 2, list over.
But the fact
Remember
that
TJ Oshie?
the fact, yes, that's not a remember guy. That guy's like almost a Hall of Famer. Like he's
What
a
about
borderline
Chris
Hall of
Chelios?
Famer. That's like if I told you remember. It's like remember Alex Gordon.
Remember Mario Lemieux?
Remember Paul Konerko.
There's
TJ
definitely
Oshie was one of the highest contributing like consistent players in the 2010/20s in hockey. He's awesome.
I'm just talking about the one time where he was awesome in the Olympics.
Yeah.
That's all.
Hockey, the fact that the NHL has been established in the States for so long, and yet there has been such a struggle for it to gain more and more popularity is embarrassing considering how entertaining the product can be. And it's like, I'm not going to rank you high as a commissioner.
But is that Gary Bettman's fault?
Yeah, as the commissioner, it's part his fault that he doesn't have enough
but
exposure
they've never
to
been
a
able to
sport.
crack that
If
code.
someone made
what
would you do?
What?
How would you promote hockey in a way to get more people to watch?
Well, I'm not gonna act here and sit up here and act
So
as
you're
if I
just
can be
gonna
the NHL
cast
commissioner.
aspersions on a guy saying
Yeah,
that he's not
1,000,000%.
doing enough.
When you
don't have any ideas.
But I'm not the commissioner, Mike Schaefer. Okay, I'm not a
You're
guy.
not
I'm
even
not
throwing
tasked
out
with that
ideas
job.
on your show.
I would say that if you wanted hockey to be more popular, you could have gotten yourself into better TV deals. You could put yourself like the NHL network. It is not as prevalent as the MLB network or the NFL network in terms of promoting it.
Isn't that a chicken and egg thing?
I think that the marketing of the NHL and that them putting their players front and center, and especially trying to just, you have to get rid of the whole Canada America thing. You just have to make it about the sport, right? And you just
League's
have to
best
promote,
player plays in a village of 12 people.
You gotta promote. You just have to promote your players and make your like. I just feel like there's this whole like, Canada versus US thing when it comes to hockey. You just have to kind of meld all that together and like promote your American stars more. And like also too, like there's this whole hockey can't be played in Florida and hockey can't be played in the desert. And like there's
that's
this
not true. The Lightning are incredible.
Exactly. So it's like you gotta break through that as a commissioner and just be like, it does not matter that they're established in Florida. This team is awesome. You should love this team. I just think there just needs to be more of an exposure of, American players can kind of break through the whole, it's Canada sport, and you just have to promote your league better. That's what I would do.
Do it.
But I'm not the commissioner. I just think that it's like, and I'm not qualified to be the commissioner.
Now, here's a question for you. Does your boy, Gary Bettman, who you clearly hate, does he hate hockey?
That was my reasoning for putting Manfred at
3.
Does he hate hockey?
No.
Who is your fourth again? Silver?
Yeah.
Silver. Why do you have Silver fourth?
He took the player empowerment era to disastrous lows.
Okay.
And just gave them whatever they want to where they don't have to play the games. The games don't matter in the NBA.
That's correct. They haven't mattered for a long time.
Sure.
He's a wuss. And he's let these players run roughshod on the entire league. And everyone's like, oh, the league is so unlikable. The NBA is so unlikable. Yeah, it's because they're allowed, these players who are disconnected from reality are allowed to say and do whatever the hell they want with no punishment.
What's the argument for Goodell being number one? What?
He's just capitalized on the booming popularity of his sport. He just capitalized completely on being.
Without insulting Connor, could we not have put Connor in the same exact spot and also have seen the NFL capitalize on the boom of the sport?
Probably. Yeah. Probably.
No offense to Connor. I think he'd be a great commissioner.
But at the same time, you still got.
I'll tell you where we wouldn't be playing. Australia. Okay.
You know what?
Great.
I would love that. I would vote you as commissioner. I hate the
Australia is closed for the NFL.
Can we get Bears Rams to start the season in Australia?
Dude. And now
they're going to look at American football and go, "What?"
No, they don't. They don't cross up though.
Robert
They wouldn't
Kraft,
play each other.
Robert Kraft too, saying the other week, like, we're gonna go to 18 games, and every week we're gonna have an international game. I was like, oh my God, please no.
That's what the 18th game's gonna be.
Well, the NFLPA was like, we are not doing that.
Oh, the owners love it though. They get to make more money.
And that's why they're in the Hall of Fame.
But I give Goodell a ton of credit for,
for sitting on his couch during COVID.
Well, just the expansion. I mean, they've taken advantage of all the popularity, and they've planted their flags in a bunch of different places that they didn't have previously planted.
He didn't do anything.
I mean, he got them on Prime, and he got them on Netflix, and he got them on, and he got them on.
I will say this:
on Christmas Day. I'm aware, but he still did it.
I will say this about Raj:
did it.
He has seemed to be less offended by the fact that people hate him now.
Yeah,
he seems to be handling that a little bit better.
Also, too,
and so that is probably reflected well on him.
Now, he's had a good streak at this point of not putting himself in the middle of the league and being in the middle of controversy. Granted, we're kind of waiting on this Gruden stuff to get exposed eventually. And when that comes to a head, that will be the next big scandal.
The Gruden?
Well, Gruden essentially.
The emails? Didn't that already happen?
But his emails.
The emails came from an investigation into the Washington Commanders, Redskins.
Is Gruden on a certain list?
So basically, no, I don't think he is. I don't pay attention to that stuff.
That's a searchable database.
But basically, there's a website. The former owner of the Commanders, Snyder, got investigated. And they revealed, like, there was thousands of emails that were revealed in this investigation of bad things going on.
Dan Snyder sucked.
Yeah, within the Washington franchise. And only 4 of those emails, out of all of the emails,
nope, Gruden's not in there,
got exposed.
Nice.
Good for Gruden.
How did he make it through?
And so those 4 emails got exposed, and they were the 4 emails that got Jon Gruden fired. And so basically, Gruden is like, they put a code red on me. They purposefully leaked these emails to get me fired, like Goodell called the code red or whatever. And so this case could potentially go to court and go to discovery where
Bill Simmons handshake,
where all of those emails, if all of those emails were to get exposed, Mike Florio would be licking his lips to find out all of the incredibly terrible things that have happened in the NFL. And that would be a disaster. And so the NFL has been fighting tooth and nail for years at this point to stop that from happening.
The Snyder files,
essentially.
You're hearing people clamor for it more and more.
Essentially,
release the Snyder files. Don't redact the information.
This joke will only work for Josh, but they don't want the Snyder cut. They want the Snyder files.
I get both of those references.
Snyder files.
It's just one of those things where it's like, as we continue to trend in this Jon Gruden lawsuit, it just keeps going Gruden's way. And so when it gets all released, that's when we'll be like, oh my God, Goodell sucks again. But
to be honest with you, I didn't know any of that was even happening.
That's why
I definitely knew the front end of it. I did not know.
Yeah, I know about all that.
Yeah. Well, originally Gruden filed a.
I suspect it's going to be a collective shoulder shrug. When is the schedule released?
Originally, it was Gruden filed like a grievance, and it was going to go to arbitration, and like they were going to have a settlement, but Gruden was like, no, like this has to be this is a lawsuit, and then the Nevada Supreme Court agreed with Gruden, and now they're continuing.
So correct me if I'm wrong here. It feels like your commissioner ratings are all just based off like where the wind is blowing on these people.
I would put Silver at 1.
No way.
Bettman 2.
No way.
Goodell 3,
Silver's
Manfred
not
4.
Giant pile of garbage.
I mean, the NBA has decreased.
30 feet
of crap. The NBA has never been more unlikable. It is so unlikable right now because he just does not
hearing
punish.
This as someone who hasn't liked the NBA for a while.
It's
like everyone is caught up with all the things that I didn't like at the time that I didn't like it.
The NBA
that nobody ever talks about the games that are played.
Exactly, and they used to. And the NBA has decreased in popularity.
Why I put him at number 1. He's accelerated where I've been at. He did a better job than me.
The NBA has decreased in popularity so much. Most people, when they think of the NBA, they roll their eyes. Most of the people in the NBA are unlikable, and the players that aren't unlikable in the NBA are just tolerable. And that's because David Stern if you were
So
an
just
idiot.
kick Anthony Davis out of the NBA.
Exactly.
Problem solved.
Like, and now we have
Go a
load
long way.
management.
If he did that, he would definitely be.
The Utah Jazz yesterday had 8 players available. One of them was Yusuf Nurkic, who wasn't even going to play. And in response to that, the Indiana Pacers sat their entire damn team so they could tank. Like, it's embarrassing.
Are people mad about this in the betting community?
Maybe, I don't know.
I
I mean,
bet they
it's just one of those things where it's like
quick take. We should not ever worry about the betting community. Part of what happens when you bet is you take an assumed risk. It didn't work out for you. Too bad. Nobody cares.
I agree with Schaefer wholeheartedly. And by the way, like this
also, if you ever DM a coach or a player, you should just be banned from betting.
I agree with that too.
Great take.
It's so bad. It's so stupid too. Also, too, we're doing Dog of the Day, which I love. I love this thing we're doing. But
woof, woof.
It has
Are
forced.
you getting murdered?
No, we're even now. But like, it's forced me to bet on like NBA basketball times, which is so pointless to me. Like, you don't know, like, whether these guys are going to care, whether they're going to play full speed, or who's playing or who's not playing, or anything like that.
Now,
like,
NBA.
it's so
Now, to be
stupid.
fair, NBA people would say that about college basketball. They would say, "I don't know what's going on in this dumb sport.
No, I do.
Why are there 100
college
fouls? Why are the refs so bad?"
College basketball is so much better than NBA basketball. In terms
I
of
agree, but
viewing
that's your
experience.
perspective. Like, there's a
think
lot of NBA people who are like, "I love
but-
the NBA. I can't watch this slop
I
college
think- I
basketball."
think
Quality
those
of
people are
basketball
incorrect.
Is definitively not better in college. It's just that you have an emotional connection.
It's more. I would say it's more competitive.
I don't know if I believe that.
I think that on a game-to-game basis that these college basketball players are exerting way more effort than some of these NBA players are from a game-to-game
Some,
perspective.
sure. I don't know that I could collectively say that.
I mean, obviously, the
Obviously-
NBA players are better. Obviously, the NBA players are better from a skill perspective, but from like a, college basketball, they play team basketball. They run motion offense. They set different screens. They have
Some
fun
teams
off-ball
do.
actions. Like, they play like team defense. They communicate. They switch. They help. Like, you'll just get stretches in NBA games where it's just, all right, pick and roll, run to the basket. Pick and roll, run to the basket. Oh, transition offense. Oh, ISO offense. Like, we're just going to shoot 8 threes in 40
I would argue
seconds.
that's most of the college basketball teams.
Yeah, I was
too.
going to
I
say.
don't.
where
I
you're
don't
going
think
with
it's
this,
as
a logical
much.
collusion.
It's not as much.
You're
guys.
going to end
Stop
up at
it.
high schools
Stop
around
it.
the community being like, basketball
They
is
play
dead.
team ball.
This is the purest form of the
No.
sport right
No.
here.
You guys are
Five
crazy.
How many
for
sets
one,
they're
one.
running?
You guys are crazy. It's my opinion that college basketball is. I enjoy watching it, and
Oh,
it's
yeah,
more
no.
No, I know.
competitive and
I know.
aesthetically.
We share
That's what I'm
pleasing.
saying.
We
Yeah,
literally
I
share
agree
the
with you.
opinion.
Yeah.
You and Beef guys should go get a meal together.
They play team ball.
I just don't understand. Like the NBA from like 2010 to about 2017 was like, it was awesome. It was fun. It was entertaining. I would say you could even date back probably like 2000. You could shorten that 2008 to like 2015. It was great.
Its apex was 2011. Many people
it-
agree.
It was incredible. And then since Silver's
Big dirt
taken
guy.
over, we're way more worried about the trade deadline and free agency and the soap opera and what players are doing what, as opposed to like what's actually happening on the floor.
That's definitely true.
And that's terrible. That's terrible. And we're not talking enough about how like Miami is like, the Miami Heat right now are having like a new tempo style of offense in the NBA that uses less and less pick and rolls and is more about just quick tempo, fast paced.
Is Spoelstra still their coach?
Yeah. And it's like,
Did you know he started in the film
video
room?
but my issue is that we're not talking about the Heat doing that as much as we're talking about like, John Morant. Where's he? What is he going
I'm
to do? Is he
interested in
gonna show-
Harden getting traded for the 40th time yesterday. That was funny. That was
That
hilarious.
guy's a loser.
He is a huge loser.
What do
Such
you
a
think the
loser.
equivalent to an NBA second round pick is? Is it like
Ooh, great question.
when you leave the grocery store and they still have the machines that my son could put a quarter in to get a sticker?
Yeah.
Is that about the same value as an NBA?
I
You
would
could get
argue-
a quesarito.
I would argue that a
You
first
can get a
round
Nikola
pick is
Jokic.
like that nowadays.
No, a first round pick is at least a claw machine.
I-
Bryce.
I mean, seriously.
So what's a lottery pick?
Okay, so
Ooh, a lottery pick is like the
One of
gift-
those eggs where you know you're going to
No,
win
a lot of-
something.
Nah.
a lottery pick is
No.
like a gift. At
you don't
Dave
know
and
what's
Buster's.
going to be in the egg, but
Yeah.
it's at least something.
Vending
Claw machine, you can still come up with nothing.
That's true.
The sticker, you're getting a sticker.
a vending machine where the person before you, their item got stuck in the spiral. So if you buy one Reese's peanut butter cup, you're going to get two.
Okay.
That's a lot.
I would say that a lottery pick is like picking out a toy at Dave and Buster's. Like after you get enough points, you get to pick a toy. And if you had enough
based on so many points.
Yeah, but exactly. So your lottery pick, like if you're picking second.
Yeah, but you could have the highest pick and the toy sucks.
Exactly.
But what I'm saying
that's what the NBA draft is too.
Matt.
Yes.
How often, if you have a low amount of tickets, are you walking away with a toy that could exceed something that you would have a higher amount of tickets?
You know what? I used a pencil
Having
sharpener.
never been to Dave and Buster's, I can't answer.
It's the egg. It's the egg.
I used a pencil sharpener from Chuck E. Cheese for years.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of good pencil sharpeners. Have you heard of Jeff Teague?
Exactly.
He was a pencil sharpener.
That's what I'm saying. That's why Chuck E. Cheese is a great example.
Jeff Teague was a pencil sharpener off of the third rack. You know, there was
what was Anthony Bennett?
Anthony Bennett was.
He was like that. He was
the
like
sticker,
the stuffed animal where all the fluff came out of it because there was a tear in the seam.
Anthony Bennett was like one of those electronic planes that you can get that was worth like 2,000 tickets, and then you bring it home and immediately it just breaks. Just like, oh, this sucks. Never gonna play with it again. That was Anthony Bennett. Anthony Bennett is like when you go to a carnival and you get like the blow up bat and you start swinging it and then like you hit something and it just pops right away.
Do another one.
Did I ever have a blow up bat? I don't think I did.
You keep doing it. You just did 2 in a row.
I suck at these.
Why do you keep doing them?
I don't know. I want to be Colin Cowherd.
You do not.
Midwest guy.
He's not a Midwest guy.
That's what he says. That's what he would say about you.
Says. Yeah. You know, it's funny. Colin Cowherd goes to Chicago and talks about more USC football than maybe anyone in Illinois ever has. It's ridiculous.
Why is that funny?
It's just funny to me. Nobody gives a crap about USC football in Illinois.
All right.
There you go.
I didn't know
Matt's been working on this theory that Colin Cowherd does his show in Illinois.
He does it. He does it in Chicago.
Even though he
wait
says live from LA.
No, he does it in a studio in Chicago.
But it's a national show, so who cares?
Chicago people care.
Why would I care? You do a national show from Studio Prod 2 and nobody would notice.
That's a good point.
Did you
look at that. You were right, Matt. I apologize.
Did you know that in Chicago, it's a big deal what high school you went to? I learned this on the crossover yesterday. That's how they determined that Big Cat was a fraud because he didn't have any like high school connections.
Really? What high school did he go to?
He didn't go to one in Illinois.
Ooh.
He's a New England
Boston
guy.
He was like a border. It was like a boarding school. East Coast guy.
I knew that. I didn't know that it depended on
what I was saying is that like one of the things that like garnered popularity of like Barstool Chicago and like it was called Redline Radio before it became Barstool Chicago was all the guys were local and they all like would talk about their high schools and stuff like that and like a lot of people enjoyed that and then like Big Cat would join and it was like people were like, oh, what high school did he go to? And nobody knew. I was like, probably he may not be from like originally around here, and then it kind of those things kind of leaked out.
Is his Wisconsin fandom fake?
No, he went to Madison.
Oh,
that's why he's a Wisconsin fan. So like that.
I just want to get the facts right.
So he adopted Chicago after the fact.
He adopted Chicago just to be like a Barstool guy. Like that was his like media. Now
he doesn't care about the Bears.
So his uncle was from Chicago, and so the Bears were like his second team. You know, like everybody kind of has like a mass second team. That was the Bears to him.
Haber doesn't even have a first team.
He grew up a New England fan, and then when
who's your second team?
The Eagles.
Oh, because your dad was
my dad works in Philly,
there,
then my best friend, he's an Eagles fan, so he was my roommate for 3 years.
So you think Mr. Cat lost some credibility?
Oh, 1,000,000% he did.
So you
I mean, the guy was a Patriots fan up until he was like 20. You know, like he grew up a diehard Patriots fan and only decided.
Before you knew that, you were like looking at Mr. Cat and you were like, that guy is me.
No, seriously.
And then that happened. And you're like, I can't trust this guy anymore.
You know what? It did bother me a little bit.
It's interesting.
It did bother me. It bothered a lot of people because it was
I don't give a rip.
He was, but from a Chicago perspective, he was like our representative. He was like our dude. This is like the Chicago
You
Bears
take him
fan.
in a draft to represent you.
For a while, yeah, people, but low key, Seth
People in
Rollins
Chicago
is
want
taking
Big Cat representing him.
Mr. Cat.
I mean, he is probably one of the more bearable and by far likable people at Barstool.
But you don't like him anymore?
I like him. I like him a ton. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like,
you
if
don't
I
have to be limited to just picking people from Barstool. You can be represented by Oprah.
but I don't.
instance.
But like, I don't.
Barack.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm not going to pick a politician to represent my fandom on a national scale.
Good save.
I would
Good
prefer Ashton Kutcher over
Whoa.
Barack Obama.
Whoa.
He's an Iowa guy.
That guy is in that database. I guarantee it. You can quote me on that.
He's an Iowa guy, though.
Yeah, but he's been like Ashton Kutcher has been like more. Now he's very problematic too, which is why when Seth Rollins and Big Cat decided they were the big Bears fans, people hopped on them as opposed to Ashton. You know,
Seth Rollins also Iowa. You can't claim him either.
But he's a Bears fan.
I'd rather just
Dude,
not have.
We're
any
not
of those
claiming. I
things.
thought it was the city of Chicago.
But
thing.
here's the thing: Big Cat was a Patriots fan for 20 years,
Yeah,
and like pictures of him in Patriots Tom Brady uniforms. You know
I
what I'm
had
saying?
no
Ashton
idea
Kutcher's
that-
name came up 15 times.
I didn't know that Big Cat had an origin story.
Screenshot.
Yeah,
I
so
just know that he's a relatively annoying figure in sports, and so
I like him a ton.
largely ignored him.
I am Mr. Cat.
15 times.
He whoa, okay. That's the crossover. Powered by Upper Level Concrete. Everlevelconcrete.com. I never looked at the clock, guys. I am so sorry.
We would have just kept going.
Middays with Matt is coming up next year on 1620.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're going to hurt some people.
Whose car are we going to take?
I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
That's an absolutely horse crap call.
Make room for Daddy. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Chicago is.
This is Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt here on 1620 The Zone. Good morning, Josh Hodson. How are you?
Doing fine. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing great.
Good.
It's a great morning here at 1620 The Zone. Great morning here on Middays with Matt. It's a weird week. It's a weird week.
Is it?
Here's why. This, like, the Super Bowl is like weird in terms of like the early parts of the week because it's like we're so far away, but yet it's still a very big deal. Like when we hit Friday, it'll be like, holy crap, the Super Bowl is this weekend. Like, this is awesome. Like, this is the game. This is like, we've been working up to this moment.
No stars, no stories.
Yeah.
Just football.
You know, I got crucified on here a couple of months ago for mentioning that I didn't like that the Chiefs weren't great. You know, I was a little upset that you didn't have like a Mahomes potential, like you didn't have the Mahomes storyline heading into the playoffs, and like you didn't have the like, you know, the same carryover stories from like the last couple of years into this season. That it was like all of a sudden it's just all right, here are a bunch of brand new teams and they're all super competitive. And you know, we all loved the competitiveness within the regular season. I'll say this. The competitiveness within the regular season this year in the NFL was awesome. Like, this NFL regular season was incredible. Of the back and forth, and like each week it seemed like there was a different team on top, and like you were picking different basically Super Bowl combinations as the weeks went on. And then you kind of got to the playoffs though, and you're like, all right, well, like there was a bit of a lack of superstar power in a way, with no Lamar and no Joe Burrow and no Patrick Mahomes. And, you know, you had some really good superstar power with like the San Francisco 49ers and the LA Rams. But I don't know. I don't love the whole, there aren't enough stars in the Super Bowl on Sunday. Like, I hate that because I'm like, these are just two great teams. Like, let's stop it.
They're two pretty darn good teams.
But I warned people that this would be their reaction because you didn't have like the Mahomes carryover, you know, Super Bowl storyline, and you didn't have Burrow in the playoffs, and you didn't have Lamar in the playoffs. I told people this would occur, but I'm mad that people are mad about it because it's just like, this has been a great season, and Seattle I think it's, people will disagree when I say it now that they went under the radar for a lot of the season because they're like, oh, they're in the Super Bowl now. What do you mean they went under the radar? But I think a lot of people doubted Sam Darnold for the entirety of the year. And people are still doubting Sam Darnold, even though he's had a great season. But they've been a great story all season long and how good that defense has been. And, you know, for all of what you can say about, you know, New England and having the easy schedule and getting lucky that Denver beat Buffalo and then had Jarrett Stidham play quarterback, and the fact that Drake May hasn't had the best playoff run, I'll say this, like, I still think it's an incredible story that Mike Vrabel returns to the team that he played for, won Super Bowls with, you know, gets them back to glory in his first season. And Drake May has, you know, we've been, for the last, it seems like 3 seasons, we've kind of been stuck on the big four of Burrow, Jackson, Mahomes, and Allen, which, by the way, stuck is the worst word for it because stuck implies that we've been unlucky to have it, or it's been like a burden to have it. It has not been a burden whatsoever, but it's great that Drake May in his second season as an NFL quarterback has emerged as, hey, he could be the 5th guy. So it's weird. Like, this is from an optics perspective, it's a, you know, I've seen articles about like, oh, it lacks star power, but I'm like, I don't give a crap about star power. I care about good football. And both these teams have played incredible football up to this point. But it's weird. It's weird in the week because it's like, it's Wednesday, so it feels like we're a mile away from the Super Bowl right now.
It does.
Feels like we're forever away. But we will have a fun Super Bowl segment today. So our goal was we were going to have a Super Bowl segment every single day of this week. Today's segment is your favorite in-person Super Bowl moments. Okay? Your favorite. And so, like, there are great Super Bowl moments that maybe you were born after or happened when you were a kid that you don't really remember, and then you were told about it later, right? We want to hear your favorite. I was watching the Super Bowl. I saw this happen, and this was incredible, and I'll never forget it. Okay, so we'll talk about that probably sometime in the 11 o'clock hour. We'd love to hear your calls on it. 402-951-1620 is the number to call us and text us. 402-951-1620 is the Prairie Flower Casino hotline. Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more. And also, you can email us about your favorite Super Bowl moments in the Equitable Bank inbox. Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Old Man Doug, pick up on the first ring. Some special teams things happened for Nebraska football.
Oh, we got a new coordinator and everything's all honky-dory?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
I don't care. I don't care, but I do care, and I'm going to explain. I'll save it. I'll save it for when we talk about it around the 12 o'clock hour. But it's one of those things where it's like, I'm just going to use the line now, and I'll use it again later. But like, you already crapped the bed. I don't really care if you roll around in it at this point. Like the crap is in the bed already. Okay, it's just like the hay is in the barn. The mistakes have been made. Whether or not you have 3 guys manning special teams or 2 guys manning special teams, I really don't care. Really don't care. You know, it's kind of is what it is at this point. And so we'll talk about that, and then we'll lead into other things when it comes to Nebraska football, because I have some thoughts that I wanted to get out yesterday that I wasn't able to get out. We'll also talk about some college basketball. Some things are updating in bracketology. We have some updated net rankings. We have, just kind of want to give you the landscape of everything that's going on. Also, Creighton Basketball plays tonight against Georgetown on the road. Do you care?
I care.
Okay. Do you know who does care? Jon Walker. He's going to join us at 11 o'clock to talk about Creighton's game tonight against Georgetown. I was looking at an athletic article yesterday that was basically piecing together the locks for the NCAA tournaments, the should-be-ins on the NCAA tournament, and the bubble watch, and then long shots, okay? Nebraska, on February 3rd, according to The Athletic, lock to be in the NCAA tournament. Yeah. Now, granted, we want them to be a 2 seed. We want them to be a 3 seed. We want them to be, a top seed. And so far, I mean, they gotta win against Rutgers on Saturday. And they got to go ahead and, hopefully get a big win against Purdue the following Tuesday. But the fact that the team that was ranked 14th in the Big Ten in the preseason polls it's early February and you're already locked into the tournament. My God, what a job. What a job that's been done this season. That's all you can really say. Creighton, long shot to make the NCAA tournament. Not dead yet, is what The Athletic says. Josh Odson.
Got to get some boots on the ground, because I'll tell you, they're dead.
Josh Odson disagrees.
This is very Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Do you know who actually agrees with you, Josh Odson? And he has agreed with you for quite a while. It's Jon Walker. So we're going to talk to him.
Oh, no.
World-Herald at 11 o'clock. It also is a Wacky Guest Wednesday here on 1620 The Zone. If you don't know Wacky Guest Wednesday, Josh Odson has booked a guest to come on our show at 1 o'clock. I have no idea who they are. So I will find out, like the rest of you, when we talk to them at 1 o'clock.
We have not been doing this bit long, but I will make the proclamation that this is the wackiest guest. We're gradually going out and out into the world and finding wacky guests for you to talk to.
This is when you kind of do like now I've never done this before, but I'm a weirdo and I've watched them on YouTube. When you do like a 12-course meal, right? And the chef kind of starts you off with things and things you're familiar with,
comfortable.
things you've probably tasted, but they're a little bit more accentuated, right? But then as the course goes longer and you get to the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th course, it gets a little wackier, gets a little bit more creative.
Every now and then you throw in a little palate cleanser.
Exactly.
Just to get back to base.
A little piece of ginger, if you will, to kind of cleanse the palate. We started with Scott Strohmeyer, which was the perfect beginning to Wacky Guest Wednesday. We've then progressed to Brooke Nunenviller, which isn't as much of a Wacky Guest Wednesday as it is just a great get Josh.
Yeah,
that was just a fun interview. Today, I'm excited. We will potentially get wacky. So we'll find out how wacky our Wacky Guest is at 1 o'clock today. Talking about Super Bowl moments, talking about college basketball. The NBA trade deadline is still progressing. Will Giannis Antetokounmpo be traded today? We will find out. A lot of things have happened. James Harden on his way to Cleveland. We have some comparisons here at 1620 as to what James Harden and who James Harden might remind you of. But, I mean, the NBA and some of their teams, and I'll just get this out of the way right now, and we're going to spend 30 seconds on this, and then maybe we'll talk about it later in the show. Like, NBA teams are addicted to making moves that really don't affect their chances to win the title. Like, NBA teams, a lot of them love making moves, knowing that this is not going to make them any close to winning an NBA championship.
But I can tell the fan base we tried.
I don't know. It seems like the Cleveland, the basketball team in Cleveland didn't have a very cavalier attitude amongst one another recently, and they've been kind of on the struggle bus, and I don't think Darius.
You read my lower thirds?
And kind of, yeah.
Cavalier attitude.
Kind of, but it's more so like I just don't think they liked each other all that much on that basketball team, and they were trending in the wrong direction. So why not get one of the most likable players in all of NBA basketball to be on your roster? They decided not to do that and trade for James Harden.
Okay.
So
I was wondering where we were going with that.
Yeah, no, not at all. So there you go. We got a really good show for you today. We got to talk about the NFLPA. They're kind of putting their foot down. Draymond Green might be on the move. At around, I don't know. Actually, we'll go on Twitter right now. Dylan Berriman, the class of 2026 offensive lineman, one of the best recruits left in the class of 2026, was supposed to make his announcement at 10:30 a.m. Central of where he is going to commit.
I haven't seen a lot of journalists tweet the exact same thing in succession, so it must not have happened yet.
It has not happened yet. I'm waiting for. Yeah, no. I mean, they can't like what would you prefer? Like the first two guys goes and gets it, and then we're done. First two people go
when you put it like that, it seems silly, but yes, that's what I would like.
Okay. That's a very Matt McMaster way of looking at it.
Okay, I've seen it. Let's go.
Yeah. We're like, I don't need 5 people.
Yeah.
I understand it's not a doable ask, and no one's going to follow the suggestion, and no one is going to do that. And no reporter is going to lay the sword down and say, oh, 2 people already got it. I'm not going to waste people's time on the timeline.
Nor should they, by the way.
But we would like that to happen. Mm-hmm. We would like that to occur. So we'll wait for Dylan Berriman's potential commitment to Nebraska. It seems like he's crystal ball to go there. That would be a pretty big pickup for Nebraska. Be a little bit out of the norm for Nebraska to go ahead and get a commitment, or rather have a 4-star D lineman signed to the team. We haven't seen too many of those. We've seen 4-star D linemen commit. We got to remember Carlon Jones, who committed to Nebraska. He was a 4-star prospect until he decommitted, then eventually ended up at USC. But Dylan Berriman, 4-star guy, D-line, be a very big late get on signing day today, which this day used to be like a national holiday, and people had ESPN turned on, and we were going from, high school to high school across the country, and we were on pins and needles to see if certain guys would flip. And now recruiting has turned from a, I don't want to say singular day, but, we would zero in on certain weeks in recruiting and certain months in recruiting to it's transitioned to it's just an all year endeavor. And there are businesses just literally predicated on covering and following and talking to recruits and teams and whatnot. So that's kind of how the industry has shifted a little bit. And it's always fun to kind of remind yourself about that on a day that used to be very big. And now people are like, oh,
that's today,
yeah, I didn't realize that. Oh, okay, cool. Anthony Jones, 4-star D lineman. He's going to be an Oregon Duck. Okay. I didn't know he didn't sign. So, we will go ahead and be keeping an eye out on where Dylan Behrman goes. We're going to take a break here on the other side. We'll talk about a little college basketball. Followed up by that, we'll talk to Jon Walker, the Omaha World-Herald, here on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
We've had a massive development over the last couple of days here at 1620 The Zone with new memes, including people who are regularly on our radio station. We just tweeted out a picture of D-Day. Is it D? Was it? Is
Yeah,
it
you know, you're correct.
Okay. And Nick Grimm is just in the background.
I didn't know he was that old.
He kind of, I don't know if you were able to paint his. So it's funny. So you put him way far in the background, and he honestly,
I didn't put him there. The photographer did.
When you gray out his coat and what he's wearing, he kind of doesn't look like he's in uniform.
He does.
You know, you could probably find another World War II picture to put Nick in there in the background. If you grayed him out, it would look probably more accurate. It would probably be harder. It'd be like the Where's Waldo. Did like a
That's what we should do with him.
World War II Where's Waldo of Nick Grimm. We'll just make like 18 different pictures of Nick in the background. Josh Peterson tweeted out a picture of me. By the way, it's funny when pictures of you that have been incredibly popular amongst your friends and group chats like gets out into the public. And granted, it got out because I sent it to Josh because I knew he would enjoy it. But now I've gotten multiple people who have texted me and tweeted at me and have told me how mad I look at this picture of me staring into the depths of Matt Rule's eyes.
Yeah.
Which Josh has been clamoring at the bit for Matt Rule to do something dumb or say something dumb for him to tweet that picture out, which something dumb did happen.
Boy, it didn't take long, huh?
Doesn't really take long nowadays, it seems like, for us to find something that we disagree with.
We're so out on this guy, but nobody wants to, like, you know what? I'm all the way out.
Well, I think Josh has. I'm not all the way out.
Josh has other reasons.
That is true. I'm not all the way out. I honestly think that a lot of my talk of Matt Rule more than recently has been negative, but granted, what popular things have you given me to talk about?
Okay, that's true too.
Like you had an underwhelming transfer portal haul. Like you talked in season about how much money you were going to get and how the support was there and how you were going to compete with top teams in the country in terms of being able to get talent to currently fix the problems you have in your roster, and you didn't get a top 20 class. You talked as if you had the resources and ability to compete to get a top 10 class, and you didn't even sniff that. And you only got, I think they only got 2 4-star transfer portal prospects. So, like, I'm not going to talk positively about that when you make bold claims and you say you're going to do things and then you don't accomplish those things. And then I'm especially not going to talk well about you or say nice things about the program when they lose their best assistant coach. Like, I don't think it's necessarily people having, just out on Matt Rule to be out on Matt Rule at this point. And I don't think the negativity about Matt Rule is coming out of a place of like spite or anything as much as it is that you're kind of looking around and you're like, good things haven't been happening. They got their ass kicked the last 3 weeks of the season.
They did. I saw it.
They went ahead and didn't get as many great players as you were hoping that they were going to get. And they didn't get as many good players or compete with the good teams as well as they promised that you would. And then the one guy whose unit single-handedly won you at least 2 games this season, and the one guy who brought a ton of passion and energy and set a culture that was more than, that reached more than just the starters on the team. That guy, he's coaching for another team in the Big Ten now, and then listen to this news that was just dropped by Sean Callahan at Husker Online and On3. Safeties coach Miles Taylor, his time at Nebraska lasted around a month. He's gone. Just reported a couple of minutes ago, Miles Taylor, who was hired in January to be Nebraska's safeties coach, is leaving the program after a couple of weeks. He's going to Baltimore to join his former boss, Jesse Minter. So Miles Taylor, Nebraska's safeties coach, who spent 5 seasons in South Dakota from 2020 to 2024, who has developed a relationship with Rob Orts, the defensive coordinator of Nebraska. The reason why he is here is because of his relationship with Rob Orts. He was supposed to be the safeties coach. He was hired in January and February. He's gone. He was set to make $300,000 with the Huskers this season. Instead, he is on his way to Maryland to go and coach with Jesse Minter and the Ravens.
There's a reason, so I guess
Sean Callahan is reporting that they intend on filling that role and hiring a new safeties coach. So for the people who have been freaking out about all of that, all the coaches leaving and whatnot, there's another one out the door. Oh, I see you hovering on the breaking
news. That's okay.
News.
I'm gonna let you finish.
I love this. All right. Come on, Josh. Come on.
The University of Nebraska has landed a commitment from four-star D lineman Dylan Berryman, the top unsigned prospect in America.
Nice. Needed that. Needed another blue chipper. Especially needed somebody on the defensive line. The trenches haven't necessarily been, in terms of recruiting, the worst place. Like Nebraska's gotten some guys and they've recruited some dudes, and has the development gone the way that you wanted to on the defensive line? No, it hasn't. But in terms of getting guys who have traits and who can do things that can be effective at the Power 5 level, Nebraska has been able to get those guys. But like kind of the theme of this entire offseason has been, okay, great, you got the prospect, let's go and develop it. I don't think, like, you go ahead and you look at Nebraska from 2023, 2024, 2025, now even looking ahead to 2027, it's not necessarily like the talent acquisition has never been the problem. It's been the development part that has been the problem. It's been, you can maybe even argue, the evaluation part that's been the problem. This is a good get for Nebraska. 6'1", I think he's 330 pounds. He's your prototypical. You're going to put him in the middle of this D line, and he's going to stand some guys up, and he's going to eat blockers. And you just kind of need that explosiveness and speed from the linebacker position to kind of go and clean that up. I think this is a good get for Nebraska. You need more guys. You need more blue chippers, but especially you need more blue chippers in the trenches. We've talked about it over and over and over again. I firmly believe you win football in the trenches, right? You just win it by win it by being stronger and more physical. And you need guys who have the capabilities and skills and tangibles to be physical and to play that style of football. This guy, Dylan Berryman, 4-star prospect, class of 2026, he's that type of guy. The third 4-star prospect from Nebraska in the class of 2026, joining Danny Odom, who very well at the defensive back position can make an impact right away, along with Claude Impuma, the offensive tackle from Mount Carmel, Illinois. So good get for Nebraska. Kind of came down to the wire. They were competing with Florida. It seemed like for a while you were on shaky ground of whether or not you were going to get him. He was supposed to make a visit to Gainesville. He didn't. Nebraska goes ahead and picks up his signature to be a part of a lacking 2026 class. It's smaller for a reason, though. We've talked about this quite a bit because of the youth that they have on the roster that they didn't necessarily need to bring in a big 2026 class. But Dylan Berryman, very good pickup, very good late acquisition for the Huskers. Look at this. They do something positive. We're very positive about it. This is a good development.
Okay.
This is a good thing. Class 2026 needs it. And you just need to get more guys on the D line. Just need to build depth. You just need to do that. So good pickup, good talent, fits a lot of the things that kind of you're lacking. You need that kind of a eater of space on the defensive line. You need guys who on this D line who are just going to eat up blocks and swallow up offensive linemen. He's a guy that has the ability and potential to do that. But like always, how do you develop him? How does he get better? How does he improve? How does he grow? That's going to be that's going to be a theme this entire season with this football team. So all the while, though, good pickup for Nebraska, getting 4-star defensive lineman Dylan Berryman at the last moment for the class of 2026. Coming up next, Creighton Basketball is on the road tonight against the Georgetown Hoyas. We talk to Jon Walker about tonight's matchup between the Blue Jays and the Hoyas here, middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
1620 The Zone wants to send you to the Post Malone concert. Post Malone with Jelly Roll and Carter Faith in the Big Ass Stadium Tour. Friday, July 17th at Jack Trice Stadium. Winner will get a pair of tickets and $200 to use towards travel, food, lodging, or merch. You can enter online at 1620thezone.com for a chance to win. A team looking to pick up a win tonight and bounce back from back-to-back blowout losses is the Creighton Blue Jays, covering the Blue Jays all season long. And joining us here on Middays with Matt every single Wednesday is Jon Walker of the Omaha World-Herald. Whiskey, how you doing?
Man, I'm good. I'm currently in the middle of, well, not actively, but, before we hopped on here and after we hop off of here, I'm in the middle of writing a Creighton softball season preview.
Yes.
So, they've got a brand new ballpark, and they open up on the road because, Omaha weather is not conducive to softball or baseball this time of year. But the Jays can't wait to get in Blue Jay Park finally, and so I'm writing about that.
February 6th against Central Arkansas in Huntsville, Texas is their first game of the season. That's on Friday. So I'm very excited to read your softball preview. A lot of teams across the country starting their season this Friday for softball. So that should be fun. Hey, you've been busy. You've been writing a lot of articles. As always, you're always writing a lot of articles. You're one of the hardest working writers in the country at this, or writers in the state at this point. Let's go ahead and talk about your mailbag yesterday. That was fun.
A long one.
That was a long one.
Yeah.
That was a lot. What was there anything that stood out to you in terms of what people wanted to know? Was there any sort of reaction maybe to some of the answers that you gave that you weren't anticipating? And just kind of walk us through, because it's a very different mailbag, John, than what maybe people are used to, because typically around this time you're probably answering a mailbag on, can the Jays win the Big East regular season title, or can the Jays win the Big East tournament, or what's the floor ceiling for them making the NCAA tournament? This mailbag was a lot to do with next season and what the roster might look like next season, and who might the head coach be next season. So just let's touch on that. Anything that stood out to you?
No, yeah, just you kind of hit it on the head in terms of just the futuristic approach was expected given how things currently are, but it was still odd to see, because usually you put out a mailbag this time of year and people are like, where might they get seated? And here we're talking about a team that's probably not going to make the NCAA tournament, right? If you look at Bar Torvik gives them a 2.5% chance to make the NCAA tournament. So, I've kind of approached the rest of the season with and I mentioned this in the mailbag, the thought process that this team has to win the Big East tournament to make it back to March Madness. So that was just the oddity of it, is the mailbag being so futuristic. And here we are, it's only February 4th. So that was odd, but expected again. So no, nothing really, took me aback or caught me off guard, caught me by surprise. I did have to, obviously, the coaching situation is a very delicate topic. So, you have to chew on that and the approach for a little bit. And then somebody asked me if I could keep two of Fedor, Hudson, and Blake for next year's team, which two would I keep? And truthfully, that was the hardest question of the mailbag, because a lot of it has to do with individual roster construction. So the way I build a roster would drastically differ from the way Greg McDermott builds a roster.
Yeah.
And the way Greg McDermott builds a roster could be drastically different than the way Alan Huss would build a roster. And what players that Mac, Huss would value, that's all different, right? And so that question was really tough. And I appreciate the question who asked it, because it was a heck of a question. But yeah, it was an interesting, loaded, lengthy mailbag, to say the least.
Your thoughts on this season from the scope of guys taking a long time to learn a complicated system. Is it too easy to say in hindsight, maybe you adjust the system a little bit, or maybe make it more conducive toward learning quicker? Or is that something they tried doing and it just didn't work out?
Yeah, I mean, Mac has mentioned that they've kind of had to simplify some things on both ends of the floor. And the problem really is, Matt, is like, yes, it's a complicated system and we all understand that. You can simplify things, but like the volume in which that affected Creighton this year is greater than it had at any point through the first half of this decade. What I mean by maybe not with the baby Jays, right? But they had a senior veteran leader like Ryan Hawkins to get them through the baby Jays era, right?
Yeah.
So like that team doesn't have that this year. Jason Green has stepped up into that somewhat, but like he's still trying to settle into his role on and off the court. And you don't have a veteran Ryan Kalkbrenner, Stephen Ashworth type leader on this team necessarily, right?
Yeah.
And so the fact of the matter is, the past couple of years, Creighton approached the transfer portal knowing exactly what it needed. And at that point, it wasn't much. Go back 2 seasons ago or 3 seasons ago, whatever it was. They knew they needed a point guard. And so they went and got Stephen Ashworth. Okay, well, that's only one person you have to get up to speed. Not to mention he was surrounded by Baylor and Trey and Ryan and at the time of 45, the Big East leader in 3-point percentage in Mason Miller. Go back to last season, and I know the Pop Isaac situation ended up being what it was, but like you only had to get Pop Isaac and Jemiah Neal up to speed. This year, Creighton had 9 newcomers. 9.
Yeah.
And so when you have to get that many people up to speed, it's a lot. Not to mention some of the people you had to get up to speed are going through their own thing regardless. You have the regular transfer, sure, but then you also have the Owen Freeman situation, which was crucial and detrimental. We all know that by now. And then another guy that you could have relied on or tried to get up to speed with the Owen Freeman situation being what it was, Karam Konan, like it's difficult to get him up to speed more so than it is for everyone else because of the language barrier. And then that's not even including the things that are on the court. We've talked about it on here before. You can't stand on the sideline and yell out directions for a guy like Karam Konan in the same way you could Ryan Kalkbrenner. And it has nothing to do with the skill. Like they're obviously different players, but like just nuts and bolts, you can't do that because of the language barrier. So for one reason or another, Creighton has not been able to get certain guys up to speed, guys who would have really benefited this team, Matt. And I think that a large part of it has to do with the volume in which Greg McDermott and his staff had to help guys get acclimated this time around when they hadn't had to do that previously.
What is just a loss so much worse than a win tonight in regards of how you look at the rest of the season? I mean, is tonight, if they were to drop one on the road against Georgetown, is this the type of game that you see that you're kind of like, all right, just pack it up and let's get to the off season?
Yeah, I mean, for all intents and purposes, yeah. I mean, like you'll still play the final. What are we at now?
I think it'd be 8,
tonight,
right?
There are 8 games. Yeah, there's 8, which is insane. So like, of course, you don't just like quit on the season.
No, not at all.
But this was a team that was ranked 22nd in the preseason that had openly openly talked about trying to get to a Final Four. And so, yeah, if they lose tonight, if they lose a third straight coming off of the program's first back-to-back losses of 20 plus since 94, 95.
Wow.
Like if they lose a third straight in any fashion, but especially if it's another stinker, like, yeah. I mean, you can kind of start looking ahead to next season.
So
like that would put the Jays at 12-11, 6-6 in the Big East, 3 straight losses. And, we mentioned it a couple of minutes ago that like analytics, for whatever you value them as, analytics already right now give Creighton a 2.5% chance to make the NCAA tournament. Really, as we've mentioned, Matt, their only path is through the Big East tournament. So if they lose tonight, what do those odds look like tomorrow morning?
Yeah.
Below 2%, sure. Yeah. I'm sure. So yeah, I mean, that would kind of be it. The goal if they lose tonight, and really the goal anyways, including tonight's game, is to build enough momentum to go to New York City in mid-March and be the best version of yourself, hoping that's good enough to beat a UConn, to beat a St. John's, to win the Big East tournament and get to March Madness.
Okay, so let's talk about, because you bring up a great point. They were ranked 22 in the AP poll to begin the year. There was a belief that, this team could potentially run and gun their way to a deep run in the NCAA tournament. I'll just ask you, the expert, what has gone awry, or maybe what has flipped or not occurred on this Creighton basketball team that we thought was a guarantee or a strength that hasn't turned out to be?
Yeah, I mean, how much time do we have?
Sure. I mean, maybe you just want to pick the most, maybe the one that most pops to your mind, because obviously paint defense is probably the one that everybody will talk about, but I mean, are there other ones where it's like, man, I thought they might shoot better. I thought they might play better offense. I'm just curious because it's more than just, hey, the defense isn't as good to me. What says you?
Yeah, I think it like is the rim protection. I really do. And again, I'm not dogging on Owen Freeman for anything. Like, I'm an objective bystander in all of this. I'm just laying it out for everyone, right? Like, I don't.
No, you're not making
one way or the.
Yeah, other, you're not making not any. Like, hey, you have the floor because I don't think we've talked about this before, and I don't think this is a out of. John, I'll put it this way: it's not an out of pocket or unfair opinion to say that Owen Freeman has not lived up to the billing, because he hasn't lived up to his billing.
No. It's not at all. And so the thing is, like, the rim protection has been such a detrimental aspect, or the lack of rim protection has been so detrimental to this team in particular, because I think you look at some of the other things that have probably popped up along the way, like the Jackson McAndrews season-ending injury 4 games in, help? No. God, no, it didn't. Mm-hmm. Did we know that it was going to take one of the point guards, either Nick or Ty, a while to settle in? Yes, we did, because that happens with 1, all newcomers in Greg McDermott's system, and 2, especially the point guard. And so, some of those things are like, we knew, right? But like, this team's lack of a paint presence around the rim, on the glass, has been very evident and has been very costly. Mm. And a lot of that has to do with the Owen Freeman situation being what it is. Again, I'm not dogging on the guy. I'm not saying Owen Freeman's a bad person because he tore his meniscus. Like, he's a fine person. He's a good person. But the fact of the matter is, he threw down a windmill dunk last summer and tore his meniscus. And that changed Creighton's season months before it ever began. And that's just the reality of the situation. I wrote 2,000 words on that came out last last week. And so that's really, really, really kind of been with what Creighton lost in Ryan Kalkbrenner and what Greg McDermott values in his defensive system. Like, it starts and ends with rim protection. And so for this team to go from Ryan Kalkbrenner to the center situation it has now is like huge, huge, huge. And we knew, Matt, that whoever Creighton brought in this year was not going to be Ryan Kalkbrenner. We knew that.
Yeah.
And if anybody didn't understand that, then your expectations were jaded.
Yeah.
However, whoever they picked to replace Ryan Kalkbrenner needed to impact winning just as much. And Owen Freeman, for one reason or another, Karam Konan, for one reason or another, Jason Green, for one reason or another, largely because he has one functioning arm at the moment, those guys have not collectively fit the bill that Ryan Kalkbrenner did.
Yeah.
Did we think they were going to? No. But when you go from a record-setting 7'1" rim protector to an undersized, one-armed forward around the rim, there's your defense.
Yeah.
And so, it's like huge, Matt, because, and I won't ramble too much longer, but what Ryan Kalkbrenner did is Creighton had some really good perimeter defenders over the past few years, right? Like Trey, Jemiah last year.
It was so good.
Baylor was obviously a solid perimeter defender as well.
And Jackson was trending that way. Jackson was trending in that direction.
And Jackson was too. So, and Josh Dix this year, like they've had really good perimeter defenders, but what having an elite rim protector allowed Creighton to do with its defensive structure is to gamble on the perimeter a little bit. It didn't matter if, say, Stephen Ashworth got beat off the dribble a few times a game.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because you have a 7'1" center back there to erase the space. Or erase the shot. And now you have no elite rim protector, and you have a bunch of guys who have gotten beat off the dribble consistently, and no one back there hanging around the rim to clean up the mistakes.
Yeah.
So, with what Greg McDermott values in his defense and how he builds his defense from the inside out, rim protection is priority number one. And for one reason or another, Matt, Creighton has lacked that.
I think to kind of sum up what you said, Jon Walker, was you were never going to expect anybody that you brought in to 100% replace the production that Ryan Kalkbrenner gave Creighton. But you were hoping that whether it be a 1-for-1 or in the aggregate, you would get a guy or guys that could do 70% or 80% of what he did. And I think they've gotten way, way, way less than that. And that definitely is the root of the cause as to why their paint defense has been lacking, which is the root of the cause why they have not lived up to expectations this season. Beautifully put. Nice article today, too, talking about Blake Harper returning home and playing against Georgetown today, a dream of his that he's had since a young boy. Phenomenal writing. As always, Jon Walker, the Omaha World-Herald. We will talk to you soon, my friend.
Thanks, Matt. See ya.
See ya. Johnny Walks of the Omaha World-Herald. Big game tonight for Creighton Blue Jay basketball, taking on Georgetown, 6:30 on Peacock, if I'm not mistaken, Josh Hodson.
Peacock.
6:30 is our tip. We'll go straight from unsportsmanlike conduct to John Bishop in D.C. Michael Skibbs, by the way, subbing in for John Bishop.
This is big, everybody. You're going to want to be here this afternoon.
On a Dumb Debates Wednesday.
Oh, my goodness. I forgot about that.
It'll be absolutely incredible. So stick around for USC, but more importantly, stick around here for Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Coming up next, we talk about a little bit of the NFL, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of Super Bowl, a little bit of Frank Reich here on a midday on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
National Women's in Sports Day today on February 4th. You want a little history, Josh Alford?
Would love it.
On February 3rd, 1987, President Ronald Reagan signed a proclamation declaring February 4th as National Women in Sports Day.
The actor?
No, the president.
Oh.
Black Cat wrote in Michael Skibbs, the musical genius.
The very same.
The very same. National Women in Sports Day. There was actually a pretty good interview on Huskers.com between Jessica Cootie of the Husker Radio Network and Dr. Suzanne Elza, who is a massive cog in the Nebraska football machine. As I believe, what's her? I want to make sure. I think she is officially the director of.
A lot of people question her job title.
Operations. Yeah, she's the director. Sorry, the assistant AD of football administration. So working a ton behind the scenes is Dr. Suzanne Elza. Has her kind of things, her hands and responsibilities kind of everywhere within the Nebraska football program. So always interesting to hear from people who are very influential within the program that aren't necessarily drawing up X's and O's or has any, has headsets on the sideline or, calling any plays. But it's quite the interesting interview there on Huskers.com. Also, too, coming, because it is a National Women's in Sports Day and we have a massive women's sport or a sport that has gained so much popularity in the state of Nebraska that has been played by women, which is volleyball, whether it be Creighton volleyball or Nebraska volleyball. We have a report. So this report first came from Dennis Punzel, who covers Wisconsin volleyball for the Wisconsin State Journal. He reported that news from Badgers volleyball event last night, Big Ten will have a tournament. Only question is when. 2027 is a sure thing. Coaches are pushing for a 2026 start. Lincoln Arneal, who does an incredible job of covering Husker volleyball for Husker Max, tweeted Punzel's report out and stated, the Big Ten is going to add a volleyball tournament. Now the league is just going to have to figure out if it can get off the ground this year. I don't have an opinion. I don't. I do think that, the Big Ten volleyball season is a grind. Okay. It is, multiple weeks and 20 matches of, playing some of the best teams in the country, week in and week out. And there have been some great regional rivalries that have been developed through the competitive nature of Big Ten volleyball amongst these teams and amongst their long season. And, talking to John Cook and reading about John Cook, and granted, I've only talked to John Cook here on the show, but we did talk about this topic and, also talking about, reading his thoughts in this throughout the last couple of years. The Big Ten regular season title, he's often said, is harder to win than the national championship. And he truly believes that because of just the grind that and the toll that it takes on you to play all of those high quality teams and over that time. And, can't really mess up. You can't really slip up in Big Ten regular season play in volleyball because you have so many high quality teams that are going to take advantage of that, like Wisconsin, like the Penn States, a couple years ago, like Minnesota. So one of those things where a Big Ten tournament definitely would bring a ton of interest.
And television dollars.
There you go. There would be, whether it be the Big Ten Network or whether it be someone else would definitely be willing to televise a prime Big Ten matchup, to win the Big Ten tournament title. And also, too, a Big Ten tournament title or Big Ten volleyball tournament could potentially preview you a Final Four matchup before the NCAA tournament because of, the high quality teams that are in the Big Ten. So, would it be a little bit different? Sure. Would it go against the grain of what we see? Maybe. But at the same time, it'd bring more interest, could bring more eyeballs. It'd be another great match that you can watch. Could it, the adding of a couple more intense, high quality matches kind of wear down teams a little bit more heading into the NCAA tournament? Potentially. Is that a risk that the Big Ten is willing to take? Obviously, it's going to happen. It's just whether or not does it happen in 2026 or does it happen in 2027. 402-951-1620 is the phone number to text us. 402-951-1620 is the phone number to call us as well on the Prairie Flower Casino hotline. We're going to take a quick break here. Matt at 1620 The Zone is the email to reach us at the Equitable Bank inbox. Josh O at 1620 The Zone is his email to reach him at the Equitable Bank inbox, where they take banking personally. Here's what we want from you. Send us your favorite live Super Bowl moments. Send us your moments that you were watching the Super Bowl, whether it was your favorite team or another team or another game. Send us your favorite live Super Bowl moments that you saw happen, that you were like, oh my God, I can't believe I just saw that with my own eyes. Oh my God, I can't believe that happened. Send us your favorite Super Bowl moments. We want to hear them. If you want to be on the air, 402-951-1620, tell us about them. We're going to share ours as well. We're only a couple of days away from the big game. A bittersweet game as always, because the Super Bowl is awesome and it's a grand spectacle and it's the granddaddy of all sporting events, really, in my opinion. At the same time, it marks the end and long hibernation of waiting for football to appear on your screen once again. But there have been so many memorable moments of the Super Bowl, whether you're my age, whether you're Josh's age, whether you're a little bit older. So share us those moments, 402-951-1620, the phone number to call or text. Matt at 1620 Zone, Joshua at 1620 Zone. We're going to take a quick break here on Middays with Matt and hit that coming up next.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt here on 1620 The Zone. We want to give a shout out to Omaha men's basketball player Paul Jobet. He was the Quick Star Peak Performance winner for the Summit League this week after averaging 20 and a half points and 10 rebounds in back-to-back wins for the Omaha Mavericks, who are in action tomorrow in Grand Forks, North Dakota, where they take on North Dakota. They're trying to get their fourth win in a row and get over 500. Omaha Mavericks currently 12-12 on the season 5-4 in conference play. Jobet, who did not play his first game until late December this season, has been the man for the Omaha Mavericks, leading them to a very good winning streak that has put them back in contention once again to go back-to-back as Summit League tournament champions. Coordinator hires have been rapid and consistent across the NFL. We still have plenty of roles to fill. I think we still have double-digit roles to fill combined between offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators. New York Jets go ahead and get Frank Reich as their offensive coordinator. The New York Jets are not a professional franchise. At least they don't operate like one. Always good when you can bring in a guy who has been there, done that as a head coach and just a professional football human.
He's going to coach the coach.
Like Frank, kind of in a way, you just need as much stability as possible as you can get when you're a program or franchise, rather, like the New York Jets, who have just not been able to have any sort of stability or professionalism there for literally 2 decades, maybe even more than 2 decades at this point. So Frank Reich, the offensive coordinator for the New York Jets, which, by the way, the coaching staff that the Baltimore Ravens are putting together right now, insane. That's going to be a team that is going to be competitive right away, just based off of coaching merit. Declan Doyle, one hell of a hire, the 29-year-old young offensive coordinator that eventually will be a head coach in the NFL one day. He will go ahead and be their offensive coordinator. And then Anthony Weaver, a guy that some people had pegged to be the next head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, home run hire for the Baltimore Ravens to get him to be their defensive coordinator. And then on top of that, you already have a great defensive mind as their head coach in Jesse Minter for Baltimore. So the Ravens could be a quicker turnaround. It's just always going to come down to the healthiness of Lamar Jackson. Some Husker football news today. Dylan Berriman, 2026 recruiting class. He is the second 4-star defensive lineman to commit to Nebraska football under Matt Rule. The other one, or sign rather, under Matt Rule. The other one being Malcolm Simpson, the class of 2025. Simpson plans to have a big role on next season's team for Nebraska at the D-line spot. Berriman, I mean, they don't, based off of last year's production, right? There's not a ton of depth on the D-line for Nebraska football. So it's not crazy to say that the 6'2", 330-pound D lineman from Louisiana could maybe line up right away for Nebraska football. But like we kind of mentioned before, it more so boils down to the development of players than it is their stars and the recruitment of players. Nebraska now in the class of 2026 up to 84th in the country in terms of recruiting class, which is abysmal, but something that we did expect considering the fact that Nebraska football already has a ton of young players on their roster. Alrighty, we tasked you with texting us, with emailing us your favorite Super Bowl moments. We've had a couple of texters. We've had a couple of emailers. We first, though, are going to let Josh Odson take the floor here. Josh Odson, your first, your number one, holy crap, memorable Super Bowl moment. Go ahead.
Oh, number one. Okay.
This is the one where you will never forget this. You were like, I won't forget where I was sitting.
I mean, it's Kevin Dyson reaching his arm out and coming up a yard short against the Rams.
I'm sorry.
2000. No, it's fine. And at the time, yeah, that probably would have bothered me. But in hindsight, having done almost nothing since, extremely proud of that moment. Like, they were down pretty big and managed to come back against, a pretty good Rams team.
See, mine is weird. I think a lot of people assumed that it would be Devin Hester in 2006.
Okay.
The thing is that I was so young. I don't really have a memory of that. I don't have a memory of that really at all. Obviously I know the play and I know the call, but I don't have a true memory of like, oh, I was sitting there and I saw it happen, and I was freaking out. The first Super Bowl, and this is once again going to date me, but this is kind of the point of the show. First Super Bowl I really, really remember. And I remember like sitting down and being like, this is awesome and this is incredible. Super Bowl 43 between the Arizona Cardinals and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
In 2009. That was like the one. I remember we had a big Super Bowl party at my family's house. And it was all the kids were going back and forth from the basement in the family room doing Beanie Baby fights. If you remember Beanie Baby fights, you would just let a bunch of little kids grab a bunch of, plush dolls and whip them at each other as hard as they can. It definitely toughened us growing up. But I did not participate in that because I was just so enamored at what was going on in front of me in an incredible back and forth game between the Steelers and the Cardinals. The Santonio Holmes catch in the corner of the end zone will be something I will never forget. In that kind of back right corner, tippy toes, reaches up. What a beautiful ball from Ben Roethlisberger. Like that was one of the moments of early on in my life where I'm like, sports are awesome. like this is great. This is incredible. Like I can't believe, and then you have so many memorable moments from that game. Obviously the James Harrison, 99-yard a pick six where he's got, they did a great job of showing me on the sideline with the oxygen mask after that and everything. I mean, that Super Bowl is such a classic. I think it's a little underrated, Josh Hodson, because it's just, if that was a Cowboys Patriots Super Bowl, or if that was a maybe like a Cowboys Broncos Super Bowl, or just two teams that maybe are a little bit bigger in images than the Arizona Cardinals. If it was a Cowboys Steelers, I mean, honestly, I'm just knocking the Cardinals and the fact that they're just not this premier NFL franchise. I feel like it would be more memorable. But the back and forth nature of that game and how competitive it was, and the fact that you had a lot of Hall of Famers playing in that game, definitely up there in terms of Super Bowls that I've ever witnessed. One of the, I think. I don't know, that Seattle New England one in 2014. The funny one, though, with Josh Hodson is the play that I remember the most from the 2014 Patriots-Seahawks game isn't the Butler interception. It's actually the Jermaine Kearse catch that got them there. I
don't remember that.
You don't remember where it was bobbling and it hit him on his knees and it hit his foot and then it landed in his chest?
I do not.
That was a great catch. We'll go to the phone line. Bad Takes Doug has a Super Bowl moment. Doug, what do you have for us, my friend?
Well, you just named it, the Malcolm Butler interception at the goal line. We were watching, I remember with my family because we're big Patriots fans, and you're looking over there at Pete Carroll. They cut to him on the sideline. He's got his hands on his knees, and he's chewing up gum like crazy. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, Marshawn Lynch. Here comes Marshawn Lynch. This is over. Like, hey, it was a good run. We did it. And you didn't know what happened at first, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's like interception, and we just went nuts, went crazy. Went to McDonald's, got some, flurries, everything. It was awesome. But I have one more though, since you mentioned that one.
Yeah.
And the other one was another P-man catch which went the other way, the David Tyree helmet catch, which was just a heartbreaker. Eli Manning, who's so mediocre, I'm sorry, scrambling around, they can't catch him, and they give up. Mm-hmm. And he just throws that pass, and the helmet catch was just unbelievable.
I'm sorry to bring up PTSD for you, Doug.
Okay, that's all good. But those are my two. But thanks, guys.
I appreciate it. Good luck to your Patriots on Sunday, Doug. Big Patriots fan. Which screw Patriots fans.
Whoa,
I'm jealous.
We like Bad Takes Doug.
No,
even though we affectionately call him Bad Takes Doug.
I like Bad Takes Doug, but I hate the fact that you can't have it all. Okay?
It's a long-suffering fan base.
No, you can't go 24 years with one of the best head coaching and quarterback duos of all time and then basically take a 3-year hiatus and then replace it with one of the better head coaching and quarterback duos. I mean, Drake May is a second-year quarterback. Mike Vrabel is a hell of a head coach. There's no reason to think that the Patriots won't make it back to another Super Bowl and can't go on another. Now, I'm not going to say I think it would be very bullish and probably premature for me to say, oh, they're going to go on another 20-year run. But I don't think it's bullish or premature to say that they could go on another decade run of consistently being in the playoffs and being in the AFC Championship games and always being on the doorstep of making the Super Bowl. If with Drake May and Mike Vrabel don't make another Super Bowl in the next 10 years, I would be shocked. I would be very surprised. You're telling me you're doing this with that head coach who just seems like he can roll out of bed and have a great defense, and you have a second-year quarterback who, Drake May, the reason why Drake May was picked third in the draft behind Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams was because, he was this, raw. I mean, he was big, he's strong, he's athletic, but he had some accuracy issues and he had some footwork issues and he had some things that he needed to clean up. And New England has cleaned that up. And his also his scramble ability and the way that he gets out of pressure has kind of, it's kind of thwarted, some of his shortcomings in a way. And so to think that with that great of a head coach and that promising of a young quarterback that the New England Patriots won't once again repeat consistently being one of the best franchises in the NFL and already made the Super Bowl, to think that they won't get to another Super Bowl in 10 years, I don't believe it. I think they will. And I'm jealous about it. I'm mad about it. I hate it. As a fan of a team that has been lost in the wilderness for basically my entire life outside of like 3 seasons, you're damn right I'm pissed that the New England Patriots, once again with a different combination, have been able to figure out, to find a winning formula between a head coach and a quarterback. From the 469.
Hi, 469.
I know, that's a new one.
Yeah.
Texkin, when the stat went over Peyton Manning's head and started the game off with a safety. That Super Bowl sucked.
That's deep in the heart of Texas there.
Grister's got our latest one so far. Definitely well, no, yours one. I think yours was later than this one. Definitely Super Bowl 36 when Adam Vinatieri made the field goal as time expired. My dad was a Michigan grad, and I'm a huge fan. We are both Lions fans, but we couldn't believe Tom Brady going out there and winning a Super Bowl like that after Bledsoe was hurt, along with all he went through at Michigan with Drew Henson. That's a very underrated story. We both celebrated into the night and became instant Patriots fans for the rest of the time he was there.
Whoa.
That has got to be one of the best decisions Christopher has ever made in 2004 to go from Lions fan to Patriots fan. That's got to be one of the best investments maybe made in sports fandom history, considering
there's a summer topic.
Oh, well, I feel like you would have to get a lot of engagement and involvement. Like that would be something we would have to push at 10 a.m. and do at 1 p.m.
Right.
But I think we could get it. Like there's a lot of, I've met multiple people who, because of Irving Fryer, became Patriots fans in Nebraska. They're like,
oh, that makes sense.
He got drafted number 1 overall. Okay, I'm a Patriots fan now. And that has been something that has paid off massively. From the 402 writes in.
Hi, 402.
My most memorable Super Bowl moment involved Janet Jackson.
Hell, that's certainly memorable.
I don't know. I think my generation's Janet Jackson was the Shakira, Jennifer Lopez Super Bowl halftime show.
Okay, wait a minute. Everybody just hold on here. What year? That was 04, right?
05, I thought.
February 1st, 2004.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you weren't old enough to appreciate that, were you?
No, Janet Jackson.
Wow. I was in college.
Janet Jackson, like a lot of things in my life, was something I had to learn about.
A young man who lived in the dorms with me, he's now does mornings in Kansas City on the radio, ran down the hallway. And this was a gentleman who at the time did not run. He's very fit now. Incredible transformation. Nobody knows what I'm talking about, though. Just, it was out, guys. Did you see it?
Hey, What's
college bros being college bros?
What's the classic saying? TV made for it. I mean, that was a moment in time. That I never experienced. And it's really hard to look that back up and find it.
It's the reason YouTube exists.
Basically. We go back to the Prairie Flower Casino hotline. Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more. KG's got a Super Bowl memory. KG, what's up?
No, not much. Hey, mine's not just any particular one, but it goes back to the teams I used to follow when I was growing up. So I used to be a huge Vikings fan. And after their 4th Super Bowl loss, I said, you know what? I'm moving on. I'm moving on from Fran to Man, Chuck Foreman, the Purple Crust, Purple Peterboters.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started seeing Denver Broncos with Morton and Moses and the Orange Crush defense.
Sure.
And they started out, and I said, hey, you know what? I started liking them. Then they got John Elway. I was like, wow. So, and then after John Elway's, we went 0-3.
Yeah.
So I was 0-4 with Minnesota. Then 0-4 with Denver. And then I was stationed out in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and my roommate lived out in Charlotte, and they brought Carolina Panthers aboard. I just said, you know what? I said, I'm going to become a Panther fan.
Oh, no.
And guess what? Yes, I am 0-10 in Super Bowl.
Oh, my God.
Yes. So, and it's very heartbreaking when John Casey kicked the ball out of bounds when they were ahead, and New England got the ball back and went to go ahead and kick the go-ahead field goal. So, yeah.
People forget about that part.
People do forget.
No, I don't. So
that's fair, KG. That's fair.
Guys.
Are you still a Panthers fan, KG?
Yes, I am.
Good Lord.
I am.
Good Lord. All right. God bless you. God bless your soul.
All right.
That's a tough one. 0-10. Ooh. 0-4 is a tough one for Panthers fans.
That'd make you hate the Super Bowl.
I think
going 0-10.
2015 is got to be really tough for Panthers fans now. Is that 2015 Super Bowl? It's underrated.
Getting trounced by the corpse of Peyton Manning?
Well, it's not so much that. It's getting trounced by the defense. But I think what gets forgotten about that 2015 Panthers team is that they transcended sports. Like, it wasn't like, oh, they were a great NFL team. Like, no, they were the biggest story in all of sports at that point. And they go 15-1 in the regular season, and they lost a random ass game to, I think they lose that game to Atlanta or something. I think they lost that game to a bad Atlanta team. They were really close to going undefeated that year. They don't go undefeated. They get to the Super Bowl. They're, the favorite. They're dominant. Cam Newton is one of the biggest stories in not just football, but all the sports, the MVP season. So captivating. And for that game to just, Super Bowl 50, honestly, I just remember it for, number one, the defense. I mean, first off, I think wasn't that also at Levi Stadium, Super Bowl 50? I'm almost positive it was.
You're correct.
And so that was really cool to have, and we'll have it again this season, to have that 3:30 p.m. Super Bowl, right? Where it starts off where you're in the light and then you kind of end with the darkness. I love games that are like that. But then you really remember it for three things. You remember it for Von Miller. You remember it for Cam Newton not jumping on the fumble.
Diving for the ball.
But then also that halftime show. Pretty great. Pretty great halftime show. Coldplay with Beyonce and Bruno Mars. You remember that one? That's an all-timer.
You say it and I remember,
it's
but
an all-timer.
Didn't at the
But that's
time.
got to be so tough for Panthers fans because they were like the story of sports heading into that. They were exciting. They were thrilling. They were dominant. They were sexy. They had a good defense. They had the most. I mean, in 2015, Cam Newton was the biggest star in all of American sports. I mean, he was the guy. He was the dude. That was back when Under Armour was killing it too. Like they had all the MVPs of the league under their umbrella.
Remember Under Armour, kids?
Remember when they had Steph Curry, Jordan Spieth, Cam Newton, and Bryce Harper all under contract and all killing it in sports? Now they're sort of irrelevant. But I'm wearing Under Armour. Wait, no, I'm actually not wearing Under Armour. I'm wearing Steph Curry's personal brand. Coming up next, The bitching hour is at 11 o'clock, but we're probably going to get mad about Husker football.
Whoa.
We got to talk about special teams because we love talking about special teams here.
I actually don't, but this team makes me talk about it so much.
This team makes me make people think I don't like them, but that's not true. I want to like them, but stop doing stupid things, please, please. For the love of God.
Sound like me talking to my kid. I love you, but you need to stop doing stupid things.
Yes. Stop.
I'm not going anywher, but you need to be better.
You need to be better. Stop doing things I vehemently disagree with. And then stop not doing things to solve those things. What are you doing? And then stop telling me it's going to be okay. Because they love telling you it's going to be okay.
They know best.
Do they?
That's what they say.
Well, 19-19 doesn't really convey that.
Matt Rule's making sure nobody gets the credit for a successful season next year except him.
Hey, stop doing things for the glory of things, even though that glory leads to wins. Stop it. And don't call it a reset.
Well, I would never.
Stop it. We're just tweaking.
Yeah, he's tweaking.
We're going to tweak into a break here on Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone and talk about special teams coordinators.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
All right. We're doing this thing again where it's like we're giving everybody a 7th and 8th and 9th year of college eligibility. Joey Aguilar, the man that was a part of the first trade in college sport history.
That's right.
That we've seen, which it wasn't a trade, but it was a trade. Went from transfer to UCLA and then transferred to Tennessee after Nico Iamaleava transferred to UCLA. He was the Tennessee quarterback this year. He was granted a temporary restraining order against NC eligibility rules. Originally, he was declined to have a 6th year of eligibility. He's citing that his first 2 seasons that were spent at a JUCO should not count. And so that he should be able to have a 6th season in the 4th season at the Division I level. He was granted a TRO, so we will see what the final suit might be, but he's a step closer toward being able to play a 6th season of college sports. Give me a break, brother. Jeez. I mean, it's just professional college football players.
It's time for you to hold a clipboard for the rest of your life. There's no shame in it. You can be a celebrity at the bank of your choice.
I mean,
there's nothing wrong with that. There's several different professional leagues. If you're like, I gotta play, I'm a player, I gotta play. I get that. That's fine. Maybe the Dallas Renegades are the team for you, and not the Dallas Cowboys.
I don't want to get mad at anybody for trying to make a bag. All right, I'm not gonna try and get mad at anybody for trying to better their life. I'm not gonna get mad at anybody for doing what it takes to try and financially take advantage of when you're most profitable. Okay. There is a reason why Joey Aguilar would prefer to play college football than to go to the NFL, because he's not going to be an NFL quarterback. Okay. He's not going to make money at the NFL level, or at least not make a lot of money at the NFL level, especially early on. Next year is his most financially, he's more financially beneficial of going back to college, even though he shouldn't. He shouldn't. I mean, come on, man. You've been around, like, you've had your opportunities.
Can you rent a car? Then you can't play football here.
He's had his opportunities to play college football. He's had his opportunities to go ahead and make money. He's been in college for 5 years, right? And I don't know, man. The more we just bend the rules of eligibility and allow players to be around college sports longer, the farther we get away from it actually being college sports, right? The point of college sports is you have 18 to 23-year-olds compete against each other, not 22 to 25-year-olds compete against one another. And so it just seems like with every lawsuit and every day, we're just closer and closer to losing the plot of college sports. And, it started in college football because it's the sport that had the most financial gain in it and the most eyes on it. And then now it's creeped into college basketball, which I'm pretty sure we're very close to having a Charles Bediako case hearing.
I think it's Friday.
Okay. So, I mean, if Charles Bediako is allowed to play college basketball, then I don't know what we're going to do, Josh. I don't. If Charles Bediako is allowed to play college basketball, what's going to stop Amari Bailey?
It's going to stop me.
Well, did you see the report that Zaire Wade, who never went to college but is 23 years old and he's the son of Dwayne Wade, has multiple interests from multiple Division I teams could go and play for him? So now we're just going to allow a 23-year-old to potentially play for 4 years and have a 27-year-old senior in college sports. We're going to allow that possibility to happen.
Forgive my ignorance on this topic.
Go ahead.
But couldn't Charlie Baker end this with like the swipe of a pen? Like, hey, I'm the president of the NCAA. That's ridiculous what y'all are trying to do.
I know.
Please stop it.
You would think.
Signed Charlie Baker.
You would think. But the thing is that, the NCAA claims that, hey, we've won a lot more of these cases than we're getting credit for. Well, at least the marquee ones that seem like they are actually changing the fabric of college sports, you're losing. So even if you're winning the minor ones behind the scenes, okay? Right? Like, I hate to, that's a bad analogy. I was going to compare it to like war. But if you if you win all the small battles, but then you lose all the big battles, it doesn't matter that you won more small battles. You're still losing the war. I don't care that there's other ones behind the scenes that we don't know that you're winning. When we're talking about these big cases, you're losing them. You lost the one against Diego Pavia, which opened up the floodgates for JUCO players could get more years of eligibility, which, I mean, I'm once again, I'm in favor. I like guys making their money, but at the same time, I'm not in favor of 25-year-olds, playing in sports unless it's due to like injury, unless it's due to medical red shirts. I mean, a medical red shirt, that's a whole other story, right? If you are injured, right? If you took a red shirt, you are allowed to take a red shirt. If you've got injured and you take a medical, you're allowed to do that. I'm not in favor of guys being fully healthy and
just for the lulls.
Yeah. Be like, oh, I got to come back because I have no other options. Like, I'm not in favor of that.
I can't have a conference of Joe Flacco's at quarterback.
No, but like even like the NBA conversation, man, where it's like, you knew when you were 19 years old that if you went to the G League as opposed to going to college basketball, you knew then that you weren't allowed to come back, that you weren't allowed to be an NCAA Division I basketball player. Okay? You made that decision a full sound body and mind. I hate the argument of, well, things have changed and now we should be allowed to make money. You can't stop us from making money. You can't, we technically have eligibility because we didn't play college basketball. That's not how it's worked. We are completely rewriting the rules and fabric of college sports with a victim mentality when it's really just a greed mentality.
I just missed out on the money-making window. Can I come back?
Because that's these okay. So a lot of these cases are like, well, we weren't granted the opportunity then to now make money now, and that's unfair, and that's unfair to my client. And this is, you guys have hampered us, and you're not allowing our ability to financially benefit ourselves. Why are you not allowing us to do that? That's terrible. That's illegal, right? They're playing the victim game in these lawsuits, and they're coming about it disingenuously because genuinely, it has nothing to do with like, oh, we missed out on the opportunity. How dare you do this to us? No, you made a bad decision. You made a bad decision to go to the NBA draft. You made a bad decision.
Told I'd go higher.
You made a bad decision to go to the G League. You made a bad decision to not go and play NCAA basketball.
I was told if I played for the Ignite, I could immediately make money.
And now you are trying to do the backseas and blame the NCAA for God knows what and ruin the fabric of college sports. Charles Bediako already played college basketball in the NIL era. Now he's just allowed to come back and make what? You're just completely changing you're changing the fabric of things, and you're doing it disingenuously, and I won't stand for it. I won't stand for people saying, well, we were done wrong and this is terrible. No. The reason why you're doing what you're doing is because you made a bad decision, and now you're exposing a fraud, just a terrible system that doesn't have a backbone, that doesn't have a spine, that doesn't have leadership, for your own personal gain, and you don't care if it completely ruins the sport that so many people love because you want to make money. I don't enjoy it. I'm not a fan. Not a fan of it at all. Do you know what I am a fan of? Wacky Guest Wednesday. That's going to come up at 1 o'clock.
Whoa.
At 1:20, we are going to talk odd news with Josh Odd's son. But coming up next, we're going to talk a little special teams and Husker football because I got some problems.
We got problems.
I got problems.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it doesn't include more money because I say more money, more problems. I would prefer my more problems could come with more money. They don't. They just come with frustration and anger over a football team that can't get out of their way. We're going to talk about that here on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
National Signing Day today.
People forget.
People do forget. It's like one of those things now. Every National Signing Day, the fun thing has been to be like, you know, it's a National Signing Day. Did you know? Remember when that used to be a big deal?
NSD.
By the way, I'm not going to act like I didn't do that earlier in the show.
I was thinking that.
Here's a good one. Little tidbit for you. Cornerback LeBron Bauer. Committed to Oklahoma. I was wondering when this would happen. I was wondering when this would occur. When like LeBron would be a name that would like boost in popularity because of psychos who love the NBA or who loved the NBA like I did when I was growing up. Be like, I'm going to name my kid LeBron. But why else would you name your kid LeBron at this point? No other reason other than you loving the athlete. We've seen it a little bit with Kobe. We've seen a couple of Kobe's.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a couple Kobe Bryants in the NFL right now.
There's a Kobe Bryant that's going to play in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. There's a Kobe Durant out there, and it always confuses me.
Is he related to Kevin?
I don't think so.
Okay. That's a great name.
But yeah, these kids are what? They're 18 years old, and LeBron's been at it for nearly a quarter of a century now.
You think we're going to see a DeBrickashaw commit at some point?
DeBrickashaw.
What is the best unique name that you can, like, as a player, you can fall in love with? What if I name my kid Nomar? Nomar McMaster?
There is only one Nomar that I think of.
Nomar.
You got to say it like that.
You do have to. There's no other way to say it than Nomar Garcia Power. I'm trying to think of, like, other weird. Like, you would never name your kid Ocho Cinco as a first name.
I wouldn't think so.
There would be people crazy. Or what if I name my kid Meta? If you're a big Ron Artest fan.
Meta McMaster.
Meta McMaster. Yeah, I feel like. But how many Meta World Peace fans are there? As much as you're just a converted Ron Artest fan, right?
I would think so.
Trying to think.
I was out on Ron. I'm in on Meta.
Like, I don't know. If I met a guy named Jermaine, are you thinking?
Probably not. I'm not thinking Jermaine O'Neal.
There you go, though. I'm glad you're on the same page here.
Had we not just said Ron Artest 30 seconds ago, I probably would not have immediately went to Jermaine O'Neal.
Okay, how about this one? Steph.
Okay.
If someone named their kid Steph and it was a boy.
It's a relatively common name.
Is it as a girl, it's Stephanie. I know a Stephanie that goes by Steph.
Stevens.
But
you could shorten that to Steph. But yeah, I do think Steph Curry.
Steph. I think you could, if I name my kid Steph, you'd be like, oh, he's probably, I would assume, I think I would go, he's probably Curry fan. Because also, too, is your name like Stefan and they call you Steph? Or if it's just straight up Steph, like that's your like there's nothing longer for it. But so Mike goes, Steven is a name, but I'm not saying Steven. I'm saying Steph. It's a good little topic. We can marinate on that. Probably get a couple, like an email or two in on there. All right, let's talk about Nebraska special teams. So, 2 days ago it was announced that Josh Martin, special teams analyst, is going to Texas, not the college, the state, to be a high school football coach, to take over the job that was actually previously owned by Jason Witten, who is now the tight ends coach at Oklahoma.
Jason Witten.
Also, Jason Witten, very well-known, long-time Dallas Cowboy. Short-time Las Vegas Raider. People do forget.
I did forget.
Even shorter time analyst on Fox, right? Was he on Fox?
I did not forget that.
That was tough. See, that's the one thing, like, you can be bad right away if you're Tom Brady and be given some grace and leeway because
Monday Night Football. He was
Monday Night Football.
Wow.
Oh God.
I don't remember that. I remember it being a booth somewhere.
I thought it was like God. That's terrible. Anyway, you can be bad if you're Tom Brady for a little bit, and then like we give you leeway and you can go ahead and you get better. You can't be bad right away if you're Jason Witten. You just can't. Anyway, though, Josh Martin goes to Texas. High school football coach. He was supposed to be a part of the special teams coordinator by committee. Decides, I want to be a head coach in high school in Texas. He goes off there. Yesterday it was announced Brett Maher and Nick Humphrey will be the special teams coordinators, co-coordinators. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's first lead off with we'll first lead off with how I reacted to this. Okay? And then we'll dive into Nick Humphrey and Brett Maher. Because we have to talk about two sides of the coin. Okay? Because we have to talk about how I reacted to it and how I look at this. And then we have to talk about the two actual guys and whether or not they'll be able to do a good job. Okay? So let's talk about my reaction. I saw it. Brett Maher, special teams coordinator. Nick Humphrey, co-coordinator. And I didn't care. I didn't care. And I'll tell you why I didn't care. Because it's the damage has already been done. Okay? You already crapped in your bed. Alrighty? You already crapped in your bed when you had your best assistant coach on the staff want to coach defense and had an itch that he wanted to scratch. And you allowed him to coach defense at the bowl game. You allowed him to scratch that itch and be like, oh yeah, I like coaching linebackers. I forgot about this. This is what I thought it would be. I've scratched this itch and it's fulfilling to me. It's everything I want it to be. And then you blue-balled him and told him, hey, I know you really wanted to do that and you enjoyed doing that, but we don't have a role for you to coach defense here. We don't. You know, we brought in Rob. Rob brought in his guys. You know, there's just, you're a special teams coordinator, coach special teams. And USC, who needs a special teams coordinator, very smartly went looking around and was like, hey, Rob, Eck, would you be interested in doing this job? And Eckler, I'm sure, communicated at some point, you know what? If I'm able to coach defense because it's something I want to do and I'm not allowed to do it here, yeah, I'd be willing to go. And USC picks him up, and now he's the USC coach. You already crapped your bed when you allowed Mike Eckler to leave. I got Rob Orchard confused. You already crapped the bed when you allowed Mike Eckler to leave. So at that point, what you did after that, I don't really care. Whether or not you clean the crap, whether or not you roll up in the crap, whether or not you sleep on top of the crap, I don't care what you really do.
You really know how to paint a picture.
You already messed up. You already made a mistake when you let the guy go. And on top of that, you went into, hey, I crapped in my bed, letting my best special team, my best assistant coach leave the staff. I already crapped it. You know what? I got to sleep in another bed, right? Okay. So you sleep in that bed, and in that bed, you decide, you know what? We're not going to hire another special teams coordinator. We're not going to go and get a guy, who has a ton of merit, who has his own system, who brings energy, who builds culture. We're not going to replace fire with fire. We're just going to do it internally. I'm not going to act as if I know the specific reason as to why they decided to do it, but that's how they decided to do it. In my eyes, you crapped the bed again. You crapped your first bed by letting your best assistant coach go. Then you went into another bed and you crapped it again by not deciding not to hire somebody.
Sometimes that happens.
Who has an equal reputation. Okay?
Sometimes you think you're done, you're not.
What you did after that, it could be Rob Orr. It could be Brett Maher. It could be, Nick Humphrey. It could be Josh Martin. It could be 2 guys coaching special teams. It could be 3 guys coaching special teams. It could be whoever the hell. It does not matter. You've already made your mistakes, okay? So when Brett Maher was revealed as the new special teams coordinator and Nick Humphrey as the co-coordinator, I really didn't have a reaction to it because at this point, I've just been subjugated to the fact that they've made their mistakes already.
A dozen different football teams can't be wrong.
Okay, that's just how I view it. Like, and I understand there are decisions that happen in that building, and there are things There are decisions that are made in that building for reasons that we may never know, right? Because we're not there.
Your puny brain wouldn't understand, Matt.
At the same time, though, when you have a coach who was on the staff for 1 year and made the impact that Mike Eckler made and flipped a group from being one of the worst in the country to a group that won you football games. Can you imagine if they lost to Northwestern? Can you imagine if they lost to Maryland?
Don't do those things.
Can you imagine that?
Just like we told Creighton not to lose to Marquette.
Because I would make the argument.
Don't do those things.
I would make the argument too. People forget Archie Wilson had an awesome punt at the end of that Cincinnati game that made Cincinnati have to really march down the field. And if they're 20 yards closer to the end zone, Brendan Sorsby probably doesn't have to launch that ball into the end zone. And Malcolm Hartzog, he doesn't have that opportunity to make that interception. So the extra yardage that was added on because of good punting in that first game, which is a punter that was brought in and coached by Mike Eckler, helped you win that game as well. The fact that you allowed a coach that at least was worth 2 wins above replacement, you just let him go. And by the way, you just let him go to another team in your conference. It's inexcusable to me. And you could say, well, we would have had to bend over backwards for him. You know what? If there's anybody who's on that staff who has proven that they're worth bending backwards for, it's that guy. It's the guy who purposefully has his office closest to the players because he doesn't just want to impact what you do on the field, but also in the locker room. If there's a dude worth making some sacrifices for and making some tough decisions for, it's him. And so I don't really have like a judgment on Nick Humphrey and Brett Maher. I really don't. Like, I think Brett was one of the best kept secrets in Nebraska football for about a year. The fact that he came in and, John Hole really improved his kicking at the end of last season, in part because of the tutelage that was going on between him and Maher. And then, Kyle Cunanan had a really, really underrated, very good year of kicking for Nebraska football. I don't think that there's I think that's a direct correlation, if I'm going to be honest with you. The fact that Nebraska kicking has not, has it been the best in the country? Has it been like Zavada over in Michigan? No. Has it been detrimental to the team in terms of losing games the last 2 years? No. Has it actually been, was it a strength last year in many ways? Yes, it was. The fact that Brett's there, does that have something to do with it? You bet your ass it does. Nick Humphrey, okay, doesn't have special teams coordinating experience, but the fact that he does come from the Mike Eckler tree and he does have that system, that's good. That's fine. Okay? That's like, I'm not really freaking out about it because I think that you have two guys who maybe they haven't done it before, but they have their own experiences and they clearly have a system that they believe in and a system that worked last year. What they're not going to be able to replace is the culture and energy and the things that Eckler brought to the locker.
You're not freaking out. This isn't you freaking out.
I just
don't put it on the internet that Matt's freaking out.
I just think this hammers the point that it was such a major mistake to let Mike Eckler leave. That's what this is about.
But we can be adults and realize that Matt Rule and Mike Eckler did not like each other.
Probably not.
Or at the very least, Matt Rule did not like Mike Eckler.
Let's talk about one quote. The whole doing things for the glory of special teams. For the glory.
There's a lot of glory in it.
Matt, if guys are going to do things for the glory of doing things, but it leads to wins, then let them. Okay? Because you need wins. I'd rather have guys on my team who have the motivation to do something for glory and it ends up us winning 8 games as opposed to guys not doing it for glory and it ending up in 6 wins. Okay? Sure, you could maybe disagree with the mindset of why Mike Eckler loves special teams and whatnot. You can disagree with the whole, well, he was doing it for the glory of special teams. You can disagree with that. What you can't disagree with is the results. It's the results. What his motivations were is one thing, but what the results were is another. And the results was a win against Northwestern and a win against Maryland because of Kenneth Williams. By the way, a guy who's, for other reasons, no longer on the team. I don't think I probably should, I'm not going to hold that against him. Guy wants to play running back. Don't really have a spot here on your team. Good luck in your future endeavors. It is what it is. Can find another return guy. You can definitely replace that. What you can't replace is Mike Eckler. And what they decided not to do is that. I mean, you could let me rephrase that. Are there better special teams coordinators out there than Mike Eckler? Yeah. Statistically, there are teams that have had better, more consistent results. I mean, he's not the greatest special teams.
The end all be all.
He's not the greatest special teams coordinator of all time, but they decided to not even attempt to do that. They decided to keep it in-house. They decided to let him go. And it's a mistake. It's a mistake, and it's hard to think that they're not going to pay for it. Because this is a season where you're playing a lot of really good football teams.
Mm-hmm.
And
the margins are more important.
And you're going to need every advantage you could possibly get. And it's hard to go ahead and think that Nick Humphrey and Brett Maher are going to have a better special teams unit than Mike Eckler, who has proven it year in and year out that he can produce high-level special teams units. And you could say, hey, toward the end of the season, the special teams wasn't as great. I would argue that the Kenneth Williams injury and not having really anyone behind him who could do that role in terms of kick returning was tough. I also think that Ja'Cory Barney definitely was banged up toward the end of the year, and that definitely, squandered the punt return game. I think Archie Wilson was fighting it just a little bit toward the end of the year too, but at the same time, you cannot deny the results that this team confidently does not win the Maryland game without special teams. And what happens if you don't have a kick return touchdown against Northwestern? Right? I mean, we forget about that Northwestern game. That thing looked real ugly at one point, and they had to pull that thing out of the fire. Same thing with the Maryland game. So you got to give credit, though, in those games to Matt Rule and having a team that were able to make last-second drives, fourth-quarter drives to win those games. You have to give a ton of credit to the offense and to the team, to the culture of the team, that they were able to win those close games like they hadn't done before. And that is something that changed under Matt Rule and is a product of what Matt Rule in Nebraska is building, their ability to win those close games. But they do not have the opportunity to win those close games without special teams.
Good tweet here from Whopper. I think it's pretty obvious Matt Rule does not believe special teams is directly impacting games the way everyone else believes it is, or at least the coaching is not impacting it to that degree. The only data point on this, however, suggests he is wrong.
The only data point is that the first 2 seasons Mike Eckler wasn't your special teams coordinator, was that you were bad.
Yeah, I got a lot of evidence to the contrary, Matt Rule.
I just think it's one of those things where it's a mistake. It was, there's just mistakes being made in terms of special teams, and it's we'll see how it translates. All right, we got other things to talk about here on 1620 The Zone, and we have 1 o'clock Wacky Guest Wednesday here on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Alrighty.
Oh, Matt, the trade deadline in the NBA never stops. Another bomb from Shams Charania. Did you look at this during the break?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I purposely did not.
Good. Thank you for sticking to the bit. The Dallas Mavericks are trading 10-time NBA All-Star and famous unibrow haver Anthony Davis.
Please don't.
Jaden Hardy.
Okay.
D'Angelo Russell.
Okay.
And Dante Exum.
Okay.
To the Washington Wizards.
Woo!
For Chris Middleton, A.J. Johnson, Malachi Branham, Marvin Bagley III, 2 first-round picks, and 3 second-rounders. Who's the idiot now, Mavericks fans?
Okay.
You traded Luka. You traded Luka away for Chris Middleton.
Yeah, for Middleton, Bagley, and 2 first-round picks. And they had to give up D'Angelo Russell, too, along with Dante Exum. All right. Who is there?
Trae Young and Anthony Davis in our nation's capital.
But it's like, are any of these guys that they
Good?
got
No.
back, like A.J. Johnson or Malachi Branham, like, am I missing something? Are they, I don't know who those guys are. Are they, like, big prospects coming up? Because, like, Marvin Bagley III is a bust, and Chris Middleton is old. And
that's right.
2 first-round picks and 3 second-rounders doesn't seem like a whole lot.
That's 5 picks. That's 5 warm bodies.
It just, doesn't seem like a whole lot. But had a good conversation about Nebraska special teams.
It was.
It's just one of those things where
every time you're like, I'm not going to let
by the way,
these minute decisions bother me, and it frustrates the hell out of me.
It does. But like, you do want to mention though that Nebraska did offer Mike Eckler a large contract. Okay. They did give him a lot of money.
He's a mover and a shaker. He doesn't put down roots.
It's just one of those things where, it's incredibly frustrating to have a guy that impacted winning as much as he did, and not be able to keep him at all. Regardless of the decisions that were made at the moment in terms of what you were going to do to keep him, or maybe the decisions that were made throughout the season. And I would argue, even if Nebraska did in their minds bend over backwards and make, a big offer, or did what they thought was all that they could do to keep him, and he still didn't stay, what does that say about, the ecosystem of what it's like coaching at Nebraska? Because if you couldn't do anything at all to keep him around, and yet he still wanted to leave, what does that say about the experience of a coach of being in your program? I don't think it speaks very highly, Regardless, though, it's a tough loss. It's a interesting decision to just be like, nope, we're not going to do anything about it. We're not going to hire a different special teams coordinator. We have the system. We have his notebook. He left his notebook here, left his iPad here with all his notes. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to roll that out and use that for special teams.
You guys are good, right? Like,
yeah, you're fine.
He told you everything he knew, right?
Just make sure when you hand it in, you just change a couple things so the teacher doesn't know we used your article as a base. And is it the most comforting decision to have 2 guys who've never had Big Ten special teams coordinating experience to be your co-coordinators? No, it's not. Well, it's a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see how it turns out for them. We have college basketball tonight. Creighton takes on Georgetown at 6:30 on Peacock. Hopefully, it is a much better broadcast than what we experienced the last time a team from Nebraska played on Peacock.
Oh, yes.
Who's on the call tonight?
I was just looking that up. I was hoping you
Stauskas?
was hoping you'd say other things before I got to it.
If it's Fanta, that'd be awesome. But I think it would be wishful thinking to think that they would put Fanta on this game.
Fanta loves making towns, though.
He does love making towns.
Preview. It's click that. Let's see what that brings me.
Do we know?
It's in here.
Okay.
I just got to find it.
Just find it. A couple good games.
Our close personal friend, Paul Burmeister.
Oh, wow.
And Brendan Haywood.
Okay. I was worried because the last time Paul Burmeister called the game, he had a very interesting color coordinator or color commentator.
Yeah.
At least I almost said color coordinator.
They do need someone to coordinate their colors.
They do. The ties are big. Make sure we both have blue ties on today. MSU versus Minnesota is a game. 7 straight losses for Minnesota. Michigan State coming off of a tough loss against Michigan at home. Still top 10 in the AP top 25 poll for the Spartans. Trap game? I don't know. It's just every game at Minnesota a trap game.
I hear
now?
that Barnes tough. Haven't seen it.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
Maybe. I don't know. Like, you got to win games for me to take you seriously. Minnesota hasn't won a game in their last 7 tries. They lost. Now, granted, a lot of them have been close. Like, they've lost in overtime to Ohio State. They lost by 2 to Penn State. They lost by on a buzzer beater to Wisconsin. You know, like, it's been they've had some close competitive games. It's just they haven't been able to win any of them. And Michigan State is frothing at the mouth to go ahead and pick, you know, kind of get some momentum back after a tough loss to the rival Michigan. Northwestern at Illinois. You want to guess what the spread of this game is?
Illinois. I assume it's true home game for Illinois, right?
Yes.
Not some weird neutral site. I'll go 10.5.
15.5.
I knew I should have went bigger.
The Illini are favored against Northwestern Wildcats. All right, UCF at Houston. UCF has won 3 games in a row. You want to guess what that spread is? There's
UCF
a reason
at
I'm
Houston?
doing this. There's a reason I'm doing this. UCF at Houston.
I'll go Houston 5.5.
Minus 15.5.
Whoa. You've been talking up Central Florida the last
they've
10
won.
days.
Okay,
Yeah.
Well, I've been talking up Central Florida, Josh Otton, because they've won 3 games in a row.
Right.
Including a ranked win against Texas Tech. So, yeah, I think very highly of them. Actually, that line has moved to 16.5 now.
Goo.
Even though Central Florida has beaten Tech, Arizona State, and Colorado in their last 3 games. Granted, the last time they played a team in the top 10 was Iowa State, and they lost by 30. So we will see what happens tonight. Is UCF fool's gold, or are they legit? They play Houston on the road. BYU takes on Oklahoma State. BYU, they've lost 3 of their last 4 games. Now, granted, they've played some pretty good teams on the way to doing that. They've lost to all those good teams. Here's an interesting one, though. Kind of sneaky game tonight. Iowa at Washington. Iowa's 16-5. They're definitely one of the better teams that aren't ranked in the top 25. But Washington has been trending up recently. They won a big game over Northwestern last week. And they're not in, but they're like creeping up toward the bubble. This game is in Washington. It's in Seattle. So Iowa long road
Late
trip
night tip
for the Hawkeyes. I believe it's a
10 o'clocker.
It's a 10 o'clock tip. So once again, not boding very well for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Washington is 12-10. They're 4-7 in the Big Ten. Iowa's 16-5 with a couple good wins in the Big Ten. But the thing is that Washington, everything kind of plays in their favor, right? Late night tip, 8 o'clock on the West Coast, 10 o'clock here Central. Long road trip for the Hawkeyes.
Hawkeye overtime doesn't start until like 12:30.
Iowa, jeez. Oh my God. Can you? Ugh. Do they have Hawkeye overtime?
I don't know, but if they do,
I'm going to be real with you, Josh. Be very honest with you.
Iowa City's Matt McMaster is pissed.
If Iowa City's Matt McMaster had a spine, he'd say, "We are not doing this tonight. This is not happening." Just like this Matt McMaster would tell you, no Blue Jay overtime today.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
We're doing it tonight, though.
We are doing it tonight.
It's going to be a good one tonight.
What, 6:30 the tip? So the game will end around 8:30, 8:40-ish.
You'll be on by 9, right?
Yeah, maybe. Depending on how the game goes. If they lose by a lot, I think Mac might be a little bit late out of the locker room to get to the press conference.
Okay, I was kind of wondering that in my own house. Like, okay, is he?
So probably get on at 9 o'clock, be done by 9:45. That's probably the See, Jimmy goes, is 1620 ever going to do Big Red overreaction for B-ball? We do Big Blue overreaction.
There's so many times where the games overlap.
There are. So that's the slate tonight for college basketball. Quick updates on the top 50 in the net ranking. The ACC have 9 teams in the net ranking. Big 12 has 12 teams. Big 10 has 12 teams.
Big rebound year for the ACC. I know we brought that up earlier this week, but wow, 9.
Very. North Carolina playing well. Virginia playing well. Stanford's got a couple decent wins. Obviously, Duke is the team to beat.
They're very good.
For the ACC. So they have 9 teams in the top 50 in the net. The Big 10 has 12 teams in the top 50 in the big net, or big in the net. The SEC has 10 teams in the top 50 in the net. Big East has 4. Here's an interesting one. The Big 12 only has 6 teams top 50 in the net rankings. Only 6. That's pretty uncharacteristically low. But all 6 of those teams for the Big 12 who are in the top 50 are in the top 20. So kind of a top heavy, like the Big 12, not having in terms of the volume or the quantity of teams, maybe making the NCAA tournament, but they could be the best bet, maybe outside of the Big 10, to have the team to win the national championship. The Big 10, by the way, 12 teams, like I said, in the top 50 in the net, 5 of them are in the top 12. So they got, Big 12 has depth, and they have the top teams in the country. I think at this point you can say pretty comfortably the Big 10 best basketball conference right now in the country. And then I would put the Big 12 behind them. The SEC is weird. They have 10 teams in the net, which is not uncharacteristic. But I do want to say this. Their highest team in the net ranking is 12th. It's Florida. So that's an interesting one. So uncharacteristically not high quality as we're used to in the SEC through college basketball so far. All right, one of our best segments of the week. Coming up next, it's Wacky Guest Wednesday here on Middays with Matt.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Time for the best segment in all of Omaha sports radio. Josh Odson.
Whoa. A lot of pressure.
I'm making that claim. Who do we have?
This is a new voice.
Okay.
To 1620 The Zone.
All right.
Gonna go ahead and go out on a limb and say this person's never been on this station before.
All right.
So good get, Josh. It is a voice from your past, Matt McMaster.
Oh, okay.
Coming to us live from the halls of Notre Dame College Prep, Mr. Shea Boyle, President. Welcome to 1620 The Zone, President Boyle.
Let's go. A proud honor to be on 1620 with the Notre Dame Don legend, Matthew McMaster.
Shea, how are you? It's been a couple of years. How are you doing? How's everything going over there at NDCP?
Well, everything is great here in Niles, Illinois, the home of the Dons, the largest all-boys high school in the state of Illinois. We're doing great here, having a great season, great winter season here, and it's been a great school year. But we missed the legendary Matt McMaster roaming the halls here at Notre Dame, an intramural legend, hockey legend, and the voice of the Dons, legendary figure from our famed media crew that has sent many guys to the University of Nebraska to their journalism and broadcast program. So great to be with you, boys.
Great to be with you. This is incredible. So this is first off, I have to call you Coach Boyle because that's how we first met each other. The very long time assistant coach of Notre Dame College Prep basketball team, Mr. Shea Boyle. Coach, thank you for coming on. How first off, you are right. Notre Dame College Prep has become kind of a feeder program into the University of Nebraska because of the ND media crew and everything like that. I have to ask you though, there are some rumors swirling about the fact that there's now air conditioning at Notre Dame College Prep. That is something that wasn't available when I was there at NDCP. Are you afraid at all that the air conditioning is going to make your athletes soft at your high school?
You know what? That was a major consideration. But, Matt, as I told the other alums, you walk so others may run. So your blood and sweat and tears in those classrooms have given the modern-day Dons very comfortable classrooms. We still have not air-conditioned the gym yet, so we're good there. We still got a lot of hard work happening in the Don Dome, the loudest gym in Illinois. It's they're still sweating in there, but your past contributions have definitely led to where we're at now. And you know, the teachers thank me very often. It was very hot in those rooms for a few weeks of the year, as you well know.
As I very well do know, Coach. This is a great topic of conversation here. Are you aware that Trey Taylor, formerly of Carmel High School, he's going to the University of Nebraska to be their quarterback in the class of 2027? Can you tell the people here in Omaha some stories of ESCC football, Eastern Suburban Chicago Catholic League football, and how ESCC football has shaped some of the best football players across the country? Do you mind telling our audience that?
Happy to do that. We got a great tradition here with our Notre Dame college football team. We've certainly had many great teams over the years, and especially during your era, we had some studs here that went on to great careers in college all over the country. But Chicago Catholic League East Suburban football is as good as it gets. I know there's a couple guys actually playing in the Super Bowl this weekend from some of our opponent high schools. And certainly familiar with Trey Taylor in our conference for a very long time. We didn't play against them because of our divisional setup, but you know, I know the University of Nebraska getting a great one right there. But toughness in the Catholic League is not matched very, very far and wide. The type of players that come out of this conference, and that's the reason a lot of guys come to Notre Dame. You want to play the best, come and be a Don here. You will have a unbelievable schedule, which we have had the last couple of years for sure.
Well, hold on. We don't want Trey Taylor stories. We want Matt McMaster stories.
I'm here for it all day.
We want, a lot of people want detention stories or things like that. I mean, what kind of young student was Matt McMaster?
You know, a young Matt McMaster, you know, probably the best thing I could tell you is he brought what I respectfully call the juice every single day to school. You know, Matt always had a smile on his face. we have a pretty extensive intramural program. It's probably like if such thing existed in the world, a Division IV league would be our intramural program. We have live drafts, we have brackets, we have schedules, we have TV shows, all about our intramural program. And Matt was in the middle of all that stuff. And if there was a controversy or anything ever, everything going on, Matt would be advocating for sure for his intramural team. And he had a lot of success here, but also a member of our hockey program, which just is coming off a great playoff series win over Brother Rice High School, a big rival of ours in the hockey world. And Matt knew my brother very well, fighting through some injuries and going through PT all the time. So, he learned a lot about perseverance and coming back and playing. But, if there was an event, if there was a school athletic game or anything, Matt was always here, which is a sign of a great high school guy. But it is no surprise to me that Matt has found a career in sports. And, he can probably elaborate a little bit on our media crew. But as he said, our media crew has sent guys to colleges everywhere, and a lot of guys still working in sports broadcasting. And Matt had a legendary call. I was actually thinking about Louis Lesna's dunk against Curie. Matt McMaster on the call is probably the best call in Notre Dame basketball history. But Matt, why don't you share with your audience what was your famous line here that you became famous for? Big plays?
Oh my wow was the big play.
Wow.
Was the big play call. You would walk by me in the hallway and just look at me and go, "Oh my wow." Is what you would do. That was your go-to, Mr. Boyle. I gotta talk to you about this. You also, you're the president of Notre Dame College Prep, but you also are a proud graduate of just Notre Dame, the University of Notre Dame. How do you feel about your Fighting Irish, and how do you feel about them chickening out of the USC series?
Oh man, come on now. The Fighting Irish are here to stay.
They are.
Marcus Freeman, perfect guy for the job. I've met him a few times. Wonderful leader, wonderful coach. You know what? We were not available for the Pop-Tart Bowl. I'm sure the world is, still upset about the Pop-Tart Bowl. But while people were, playing around with the Pop-Tarts, Marcus Freeman was in the vault, getting NIL money figured out, getting transfers, and he's brought in the top recruiting class in the country. So I trust Marcus. I was with him all the way. We all know the Irish should have been playing in the championship. There's no question about it. It was unserious playoff without the Irish, but that's just my own personal opinion. But go Big Red, go Irish. I'm here for it all.
Coach, President Shea, you're the man. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I can't wait for this to be posted in some sort of capacity on NDCP enrollment on the Instagram, which you were. Did you run those social media accounts before? Do you still run the social media accounts?
Yeah, I'm still involved as much as I can. We're trying to tell the story about Notre Dame to everywhere, and hopefully got some listeners that are checking in. Maybe they're familiar with your alma mater.
They are very much so.
Next chance you get to come back home, Matt, stop by. We'll get a picture and we'll put that out there. And we're proud of our Nebraska alumni for sure. You and the great Josh Lill, Danny Berg. I could go on and on and on.
Jake Bartecki, a part of that as well.
Bartecki, who can forget Jake Bartecki?
Nobody can forget Jake. Yeah, he's in Beatrice. He's in a smaller town around here in Nebraska.
That's the Mount Rushmore with Ryan Nelson.
There you go. There you go.
Show me another high school in the country with a better media crew. You won't find it.
Won't find it. Shea, you're the man. Thank you so much for joining us here on the radio show Middays with Ben on 1620 The Zone. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Go Dons. Go Big Red. Tell your family we said hello, man.
Will do. Shea Boyle of Notre Dame College.
They said it couldn't be done, but ladies and gentlemen, I got President Boyle.
So much for the trying to avoid you talk about Chicago too much allegations. You brought on the president of my high school.
Hey.
By the way,
also thought he'd disparage you a little bit more.
No,
he was very friendly.
You picked the wrong guy. He loves me. Here's the thing about Shea Boyle, how you know how good of a recruiter he is, okay? Did you see him plugging to get people to go to Notre Dame, even though there is nobody in the Chicagoland area listening to the station?
At the beginning, there were some clearly, sales-driven, like
1,000,000%.
the largest.
It is the largest all-Catholic boys school in the state of Illinois. That is always his lead. That's how he starts basically every interview. I will tell you this: the guy could sell ice to an Eskimo. Okay. I mean, he could He could sell.
What about ketchup to a woman in white gloves?
Probably
ketchup popsicle.
He could any type of sales pitch you can have.
Okay.
Shea Boyle can do that. So that was fun. That was I like how you said too. I'm pretty sure he hasn't been on 1620.
Just a hunch. Before. I don't know. I haven't followed the man's entire career.
Black Cat go, we want Matt's mom.
We're getting closer, everyone.
You're not getting closer.
Oh, I think we are.
No. I don't even know if she would agree to it.
Oh, moms love me. I can be very persuasive.
Stop it. I'm getting accused on hitting on people's wives, and you're getting accused on hitting people's moms.
Heard you a full-on swinger.
I'm not.
In yesterday's crossover.
Not at all. Not remotely close to being a swinger.
Pineapple emojis were flowing.
I didn't even know what a swinger was until I got to Nebraska.
Really?
Well,
I guess you would have been.
I got to Nebraska 5 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
And then you find out about some swingers in your neighborhood, and you're like, really? Them?
It's never the ones you think it will be.
No,
or
not
hope
really.
It will be.
Not or hope. Is there any poll question? Is there anybody in your neighborhood you hope was a swinger?
Just like the people who attend a nude beach are never the people you want to attend a nude beach.
Have you attended a nude beach before?
I have not.
Do you want to?
I don't think I do. Sand everywhere.
It's coarse and rough,
yeah.
Right?
No, thank you.
But wouldn't I mean, I don't think sand is exclusive to a nude beach.
It is exclusive to getting sand in places I don't want sand.
I don't think just because you go to a nude beach means you're really? That's what you think?
If I go to a nude beach, am I more likely, less likely, as likely to get sand in my ass crack?
I meant
more likely.
No, but what would occur? How would you get sand in your ass crack at a nude beach?
By laying down and soaking up the sun.
Okay, I think my mind was in the gutter then.
I ain't doing that.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
It's a nude beach, not a...
I get sand in my ass crack whether or not I have trousers on.
Well, you're more likely to.
First off, not a beach guy, by the way. No, not.
I don't think I am.
Do sharks pee in the pool?
Yeah, I would think so.
Why? There's no sharks in the pool, Josh Odson. Unless you're talking
the ocean?
No, I'm saying the pool. I like the pool.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I follow. I'm sorry. Yes, you are correct. Pool greater than beach.
Way greater than beach.
Yes, 1,000 times.
Have you ever like one of my dreams in life is like to go to a nice resort and like pool enough money together with my buddies to get like a cabana out at the pool for like a whole day.
Cabana boy.
I'm a pina colada boy.
Really?
Dude, okay. So I come across as like the Miller Lite drinking whiskey dude.
I heard you were looking for some Miller Lights, yes?
Yeah, which by the way, what do you mean you don't have Miller Lite at a wedding?
Good question.
What? Why? Which by the way, I went on a date yesterday and the first thing, we went to a nicer place and I ordered a bourbon and I thought she was going to get like a sidecar or like some BS strawberry shortcake type deal or a Negroni or a espresso. You know where this is going. Do you know what she ordered?
Miller Lite?
She ordered a Miller Lite.
Oh.
And then they go, we don't have that here.
Whoa. Can't wait for the full rundown on this afternoon's crossover.
What's the rundown going to be?
We hung out sharing the details of the date with Josh Peterson.
I'll share the details now.
Mike Stibbs and Nick Graham.
We went to a bar. We had a couple of drinks.
High class bar, low class bar.
What would you consider the Red Lion in Blackstone?
Probably
in between.
Really shoot in the middle. Yeah. Excellent
there was
job.
jazz. Now, here's the thing.
Do you like jazz?
Do you like? See, I almost pulled out that joke, but I didn't want to be that big of a nerd to begin. I don't want to reveal all the secrets.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. When you go to a jazz bar, what do? Do you sit close to the jazz or away from the jazz on a first date? That was a thought that went through my head. Because if you want to, enjoy the jazz and you want to have the vibes, you're close to it. But at the same time, the music is loud.
Yeah, it might be hard for conversation if you're close to the jazz.
And we're trying to know as much as possible about it.
Sure.
And so it's just one of those things where it's like, well, we don't get the full atmosphere of the Jazz because we're not right there in front of us. But
you know what? I think here's the play. It's a little too late to tell you what the play is. But
okay, no. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm probably not going to marry this woman.
You sit, maybe not front row, but towards the front. You sit down and then you go, hey, can we move to the back so we can just have a better conversation?
So here's what we did.
That's
walked
the play.
Close to the Jazz.
Uh-huh.
And when we were getting closer to the Jazz and the music was getting louder, we then went toward the back. And we still could hear the Jazz.
So you kind of did what I...
Exactly.
Okay. Kudos to you, sir.
But I wonder what, if it's a third date, I think we'd be right in the middle of the Jazz.
Yeah, by the third date, I'm tired of listening to you talk.
Well, then you know what? Here's my thing. I told you that I don't want to recycle places that I've already been to dates on. Did I tell you this? No, I told the crossover.
I didn't know this.
So I went on dates with a girl last year.
Uh-huh.
And we went to the Barcade in Little Bohemia, and we went to a Creighton game, and we went to Lisa's Radio Cafe, and we went to Stokes. We went to a bunch of these different places. And I don't want to reuse those places because I don't want to, it feels a little dirty to me.
Okay. Now, are you okay with cycling through them all, or one date we're done?
That's what I'm asking, because Austin Jacobson off air had a great suggestion where he goes, hey, second date, probably take her to a barcade. But I already did a second date at a barcade.
Okay.
I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, you don't want to go to a place so frequently that the people that work there are like,
well, that's the thing. I ain't taking her to Shucks.
This ain't the girl you were in here with last week.
Exactly.
You don't want that.
Which already happened at a place.
Oh, goodness.
Well, I got a little look from a guy at the bar I was at. Now, would it be weird, though, if I went to the Red Lion again with a different girl on a date, but it was the third date, is what I'm asking, as opposed to the first date? Is that weird?
I don't think so.
Because on the third date, I sit closer to the Jazz, and we enjoyed the Jazz.
I think you're good for now.
Kind of mad I didn't know it was a full Jazz bar.
Maybe we revisit this in a month or two.
We will. We'll see if we go on another date. It's dating season because football season's over.
That's what I hear.
I'm booked during football season. I got too much going on.
Busy guy.
Do you know who's good at booking things? It's Josh Hodson. That was Wacky Guest Wednesday with Shea Boyle, president of Notre Dame College.
Shea Boyle.
What a get.
We got him.
Everybody's been clamoring at the bit. Yeah. Schaefer texted us, Wacky Guest Wednesday.
I should have really hyped it up as an exclusive interview.
Yeah. That would have been something. Well, every Wednesday we get a wacky guest. Hopefully we get wackier next year. I just want to get wackier and wackier. I'm waiting for the day you book somebody and I have no clue who they are.
That would be bad.
That would be funny.
It would be funny. You would not admit it, though, until after the guest was gone.
Can I be honest with you? When you were introducing Shay, I had Google pulled up and ready to type.
How scared were you when I said this person has never appeared on 1620 The Zone?
No, I wasn't scared at all.
Okay.
I kind of hope that that's the case. All right. We will go ahead, talk a little about the NFL, NFLPA, some things that Roger Goodell said yesterday. We'll also continue to talk about college basketball along with Husker football here in the last about 22-ish minutes. Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
All righty. We have a text in the text line from the 202 says, hopefully these young ladies don't listen to your radio show or radio replay. You are going to go to a date spot and they are going to be all there to punk you. On our line right now on the Prairie Flower Casino hotline is a man who runs a lovely establishment, one that I frequented yesterday. It's Chad, who owns the Red Lion. Chad, thank you for calling in, my friend.
Gentlemen, thank you for coming down yesterday. We really appreciate that.
It was so I went on a date, Chad. I was recommended to go on a date to the Red Lion, which, by the way, I'd only been to your establishment once when I was out. I was out on a weekend in Blackstone, some of my college friends, and it was a kind of a late night crowd, right, at the Red Lion. And that's what I thought it was. And then I found out yesterday that it's more of a date spot. I went there and I was pleasantly surprised. I had a great time. Does that happen to you often, where people are like, they think Red Lion is kind of the nightcap weekend night, but then they find out it's actually a very well put together jazz bar?
They are surprised when they find out about the jazz, and they do it 6 nights a week. But a lot of the pictures you'll see on the walls are from people that had their first dates there, got engaged, and then got married.
Whoa.
So we've been a date spot for quite some time now.
Okay.
And we're truly honored and blessed. I mean, thanks for coming in on your date.
Of course.
That's just amazing.
Do you have any first date tips for me if I take another date to the Red Lion? You have any like suggestions of what I might order or how I might impress a woman at your establishment?
Just be yourself.
Okay. Thanks.
Let the bartenders take care of you.
Nice.
Tell them you're on your first date, and they will do the rest. They really enjoy people's first dates at Red Lion.
Chad, you're the man. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you. We were listening, and I couldn't let it go. I had to call in.
I appreciate you, Chad. Hell of a bar. Hell of a bar. I had a great time.
You could have your picture on the wall of the Red Lion.
We'll see. It was a good first date. Josh, come on. You know me better. You know me. I know you know me.
I do know.
And I know you know me.
But they don't know we know they know we know.
I'm afraid of commitment.
This is true.
Why were you so exasperated when you said that?
People like the Jerry Seinfelds and the George Costanzas of the world who will dump a woman for using a red toothbrush instead of a blue toothbrush or something like that.
You don't?
Come on, you're not gonna find someone that checks every single box.
You gotta have lower standards.
What's the deal with lower standards?
We have some news to catch up on. Here
do we?
After the 1 o'clock hour is often the silly goose hour here on Middays with Matt. We have a couple of things. First off, in the NFL news, it was announced Nathaniel Hackett will be the offensive coordinator for the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, tell me how I should feel about Gus Bradley being named defensive coordinator of my Tennessee Titans.
Okay, it's fine.
I forgot he was a head coach.
One thing though about the Tennessee Titans defensive coordinator is that Robert Saleh.
It's going to be Robert Saleh,
and I'm pretty sure he's going to be calling. I'm not pretty sure he is going to be calling the plays at Tennessee, which he didn't do at New York, even though that his greatest tool, honestly, is being a coordinator. So that'll be good. I mean, it's always good to have a guy with head coaching experience.
He's 59.
Yeah, he's an older guy.
I didn't know. He looks pretty good for 59.
Report here from Evan Bland. Nebraska Athletics unveils 3-year plan to add 151 new scholarships across all sports. So the phase in the increase of scholarships will begin in 2026-2027, that academic year. The result will eventually be 150 new scholarships, 96 for women's sports, 55 for men's sports, that will be the total by the end of the 2028-2029 academic year. At that point, Nebraska would expect to be operating with 433 total scholarships. So, this is a pretty big increase. And one of the things, too, is that there's a new rule change that scholarships are no longer counting against a school's revenue sharing cap. So the cap will increase from 20.5 million in 2025 in 2026 to 21.4 million next year. So basically Nebraska, I mean, if you give out a scholarship, right, it would count against your cap. That's no longer the case. So now you can kind of, if you have the means to do so, you can increase your financial investment using scholarships towards athletes whilst, it not being counted against you on the books. And so Nebraska is taking advantage of that and obviously adding more scholarships. So the big thing is that like softball is going to move from 12 scholarships to 25 scholarships. Like that'll be pretty big. And like women's gymnastics, they'll move from 12 scholarships to 20 scholarships. Both track and field, they'll move from only being able to offer 12 and a half scholarships to 45. So, this is going to be a pretty big increase for the Olympic sports, essentially. And they'll get a lot more money to play with. And also, too, for softball. I mean, they're going to go from 12 to 25. That's massive. So, pretty big news coming out of Nebraska that they're going to go ahead and, once again, I mean, Troy Dannon kind of proving the talk with the walk, right? We talk about financial investments within the athletic department and financial investments within programs to make that increase of, over 150 scholarships that will span across 3 years definitely reflects that. So, big news for a lot of those sports. I mean, obviously, the ability to no longer be penalized in terms of finances on the revenue sharing will give you more money to spend on other sports, and so that's a big deal. But that's a rule that every team is going to be playing with. You obviously don't need that. Doesn't really affect football or at least according to this article. I mean, they're already giving out a ton of scholarships to begin with, so pretty decent news coming out of Nebraska there. Let's talk about the NFLPA real quick. We talked about it yesterday. Roger Goodell talking about some of the things that they wanted to do. Now, granted, 2027 is going to be a really big year for baseball in terms of their collective bargaining agreement. And at this point, it just seems like we're destined to hit a lockout some point next season after this season with the MLB. And that CBA is going to be incredibly contentious in terms of what the owners want and what the players want. And the hot button issue will be salary caps. But the NFL collective bargaining agreement, that will be a very contentious debate as well when we get to 2030. So, the fact that we are basically 4 years away from getting down into those negotiations and we're already talking about what that might look like, I think can indicate to you that it's going to be a very interesting process. It'll be interesting to see if the owners try and take away some of the slice of the pie from players. And part of the arguments that they might use in that regard is like, look, the salary cap keeps going up and up and up and up and up, and you guys get paid more and more money. We as owners who are investing in you should be able to take more money from the pie, but at the end of the day, you're going to have way more money than you ever had to start with. That might be an argument that they could make. But another thing that they want is another regular season game. That's something that the owners are really targeting. And Robert Kraft mentioned not too long ago, the owner of the New England Patriots, which, by the way, much like his longtime head coach Bill Belichick, won't be in the Hall of Fame this year, went ahead and said, look, we want to play 18 games. We want to eliminate a preseason game. We'll have 2 preseason games, 18 regular season games, and everybody's going to play overseas at one point. The NFLPA is like, oh, hell no. They've established they have no appetite for an 18th regular season game. Interim executive director David White, and they got to get an executive director at some point for the NFLPA. After that, after Pablo Torre blew a hole in the NFLPA, said, we're not doing this, and it's not safe for players. And he called it a very serious issue. Something to note here. So ACL tears from last season to this season went down 30%. And we have seen some positive trends in terms of injuries over the last couple of years in the NFL. But there is something to note. From last season to this season, we saw an increase in concussions. 129 concussions in the NFL. Last season, 168 concussions in the NFL. This season, Achilles tears also went up. We went from 13 Achilles tears in last season, 16 Achilles tears this season. So we've gone down in knee injuries, but unfortunately increase in other injuries. And, I think that David White kind of mentioned, and in the Athletic article I read about the NFLPA mentioned that, look, like there were injuries also too in wildcard games, right? And those injuries, if you have an 18th regular season game, those games would have happened in the last week of the season. So it affects, the quality of play that you might get in the playoffs. And so it'll be, I know we're very far out, right? 4 years away from our next CBA in the NFL, but already the fact that we are that far out and we're already kind of drawing lines in the sand of what players want and what owners want, I think is very telling because look, the NFL is gaining in popularity and they already were the most popular sport to begin with. And when you are building such a dominant run that the NFL has, and there's more and more money flowing in, you're going to want a lot of people who are grabbing at that money. And so this next CBA, with the amount of dollars that are up for grabs between the owners and the players, and also, too, the fact that the owners are saying, hey, we want an 18th regular season game because we want to up that TV deal, baby. And the players are going, no, we like our knees. Will be very
You're going to have to pick one. I'm sorry.
You're going to have to. It's either your knees or you get more money.
Can't have both.
Poll question. Would you rather have your ACL or $10 million?
I can buy a new ACL with $10 million.
Can you? Probably.
Sure.
Josh Otson and I can't tell you that, but what we can tell you is what to watch tonight here on 1620 The Zone. Final segment of our Wednesday episode of Middays with Matt coming up next. God, that song is so good.
Shout out Ian and I believe Stibbs.
I think Stibbs is
will
definitely a part of it. Both are great.
be in here in a matter of minutes.
He will be here on USC and Sportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone. Here on the crossover coming up. But before we get to the crossover, what are we watching tonight, Josh Hodson?
We are watching Creighton Basketball. They're in our nation's capital to take on the Hoyas. No one from the Washington Post will be there to cover it.
Jeez.
6:30. What? 6:30 on Peacock.
Very sad.
Don't watch it on Peacock. Listen to it on FM radio 1019 The Keg at 6:30. John Bishop on The Zone with the pregame at 6 o'clock, right after on Sportsmanlike Conduct. Battle for the Prairie State on BTN tonight at 8 o'clock. Northwestern at number 5, Illinois. Iowa at Washington follows that at 10 o'clock. Imagine being a Hawkeye fan and having to wait until 10 o'clock.
I don't think anybody.
Nebraska women's basketball at number 8, Michigan tonight, 6 o'clock on Big Ten Network Plus or what?
BTN Plus.
BTN Plus, yeah. Georgetown is at Creighton in the women's game, 6 o'clock on ESPN Plus. ESPN is a doubleheader in the NBA tonight, 6 o'clock tip-off, Nuggets, Knicks, followed by Thunder, Spurs at 8:30. TNT has the NHL tonight, doubleheader. Puck drops at 6 o'clock for Bruins, Panthers, followed by Blues and Stars. The Olympics are going on right now on Peacock. 4 minutes into competition, there was a power outage.
Oh, no.
In the mixed doubles round robin curling event.
Jesus.
And then the men's singles luge is going on right now.
Wait. Mixed doubles curling in Olympics?
That's right.
It started today?
That's right.
Did they light a torch?
No, that's Friday.
Okay. But they're already, all right.
They're there. You got to get it in.
Maybe I'll start watching curling today.
It's on Peacock. BET, 9 o'clock tonight, the Coach Vic Experience. The docuseries follows Michael Vick as he returns to Virginia for the biggest challenge of his life. I would disagree with that statement. Wow.
Really?
Read the room,
Really?
BET.
That's something.
Stepping in as first-time head coach, tasked with reigniting Norfolk State's struggling football program. And finally, at 8 o'clock tonight on ABC, it's The Muppet Show. Music, comedy, and a whole lot of chaos are bound to ensue when the Muppets once again take the stage of the original Muppet Theater with special guest Sabrina Carpenter.
We're doing a sequel. It backed by popular demand. Come on, everybody, strike up the band. We're doing a sequel. That's like they do in Hollywood. And like that, bet the LA Clippers plus 120 tonight. Money line over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Your dog of the day.
Wait, the Clippers play the Cavaliers tonight?
I know, yeah.
James Harden revenge game?
I don't think he's going to play today. I don't know for sure. But give me the Clippers plus 120 money line. You've been listening to Middays with Matt here on 1620 The Zone.